What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for being here. I'm just going to launch Facebook and then we'll begin. We got the dual system going on here. What's going on, Facebook? I got YouTube here, Facebook here. Thanks for being here, everybody. I want to talk about a few things today. The first one is what I kind of saw coming, and I'm sure a lot of you saw coming. At a certain point, it's not hard to see coming after all they're doing, but international flyers, ABC saying international flyers may soon need to get coronavirus vaccinations. International air travel could come booming back next year, but with a new rule, travelers to certain countries must be vaccinated against coronavirus before they could fly. So as expected, they've beat you into submission, psychologically abused your children, made them do Zoom calls, wear little face diaper muzzles all around, which obviously, even if you support the masks, you have to understand the psychological impact that this is having. Also, on many levels, physical, closing down gyms, not being able to interact with people. This takes a toll on humans, whether you think it's a pro or a con. But in general, after they've beaten you into submission, now, of course, they're saying, well, you could travel again. Come on vacation. I mean, just throw your mask on, come on vacation and get your COVID-19 vaccine. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you don't, then you're going to be barred from society. No pun intended. Bill Barr, trust the plan. No, you're going to be Bill barred from society. But all jokes aside, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to wait a minute or two for everyone to get in. But this has kind of been my message since March, and I actually saved my tweet to prove it. Is I saw all this coming. A lot of people did, but Trump is not going to save you. Bill Barr is not going to save you. Durham is not going to save you. Sidney Powell is not going to save you. She's going to try. I mean, they're going to work on stopping the steal in the election, and I respect them for that. They're doing real court cases. But at a certain point, it's going to come down to the American people, the will of the American people. Are there going to be 100 million people who reject this, where they lose money? Are there going to be 1 billion people worldwide reject this? Or is it going to be less than 1% of the population, 99% of the population submitting? And then you have the, choice of either flying or never flying again. And I'm going to fly and see my family on Christmas. And I'm literally bracing for, I know this is sad, but I'm bracing for never flying again. Not because I don't want to. I refuse to get the COVID-19 vaccine, and I'd rather not fly than get the vaccine. And they're introducing it to international flights, and I'm sure they'll introduce it to domestic flights. And this is my main message to the people today. Excuse me, the American people, Trump supporters, whoever you are. Maybe I got a message saying I'm liberal. We don't all think like this, progressive. I don't care who you are. Trump is not going to save you from this. He can't save you. He has no plan to save you. He did Operation Warp Speed and funneled billions of dollars to these vaccine corporations, making them more powerful, stronger, to the point where he's not saving you. He has no plan. There is no plan. Anybody telling you that there's a secret plan with the watermark ballots, they're lying to you, folks. They're trying to beat you into submission to the point where when push comes to shove, you're shocked, you're disappointed, you have no plan. You are the plan. This is the good news. It's not a black pill. It's not dooming and glooming. The game is not over. I'm telling you, if you resist, if you reject it, if you stand up for yourself, it's over. If you don't, if 99.9% of people just go into it, then you lose. So I'm going to wait a minute, do some shout outs real quick. Appreciate you guys. And then I'm going to get into the story. I'm going to drink my coffee. Let's see. We got DJ Lazy Lion. What's going on? We got Robin, Kathy Beats. God bless you. Who we got here? Kay Lorraine on YouTube. Grateful Bear. I appreciate you. Who we got over here? Holly said socialism is in our public's horizon. It's here. It's not in the future anymore, guys. We've been living in a socialist communist society for 8 months. This is not even like maybe sort of thing. It's been very clear for months now. There is no if Biden wins, socialism's coming. Trump was in power and communism's been here for at least 5 months in a hard form. So all right, let's see who we got. Alabama, Sandy, what's going on? We got James, what's going on? Debbie, and people are in Alabama, Texas. Obviously, if you're in a southern red country, you'll be a little bit more protected. But I'm here to kind of tell people, in many ways, not really. These multinational corporations that operate across state lines, they're not going to follow your governor's guidelines. These corporations, these CDC type organizations, they have more power than your governor. They're not going to listen, and it's going to take the will of the American people to fight against this, or it's over, even for Alabama. And I'm not dooming and glooming. I'm just trying to get people inspired to stand up for themselves. So as we're starting, thanks for being here on YouTube. Thanks for being here on Facebook. I want to use an analogy. I don't know, maybe there's some athletes in here, people who watch sports. I mean, maybe there's not, but I want to use an analogy as somebody who likes sports myself. I think it's very fitting for what's going on. If you're the best team in the world, you could still lose a game. And a lot of times the better team loses. This has happened to me. This happens on TV all the time. When they think they won the game already, every athlete knows, every sports player knows, you have to go into the game not ending the game like it's over, I won already. No, the game didn't even start yet. If you think like that, you lose. You know, you have to play every minute like it's your last. You have to assume, no matter how much better you think you are, you have to assume that the game's not over. So if you think that it's over, we won, haha, celebrate in the first quarter, you're gonna lose. That's very well known. It's the same thing with now. I see so many people, because of the anonymous riddle poster that's brainwashed a bunch of people, they think they won every month. It's like, it's over, we won, secret watermark ballots, Durham. It's like, that's how you lose. I'm not saying Trump's going to lose. I'm not saying you're going to lose. I'm not saying the world's over. What I'm saying is, if you don't want it to be over, it's not over. If you think you won already, you're going to lose. That's how you brainwash millions of people into submission. That's how you take tens of millions of patriots, gun owners, militias, you know, the biggest patriots in our country, instead of having them realize, well, if Hillary was in office, this is communism. If Biden's in office, this is communism. If Trump's in office and people tell me on a message board it's a good thing, I'm going to wait for the lockdown. I'm just going to wait it out. It's okay. You know, dark days of darkness are coming. Durham's got this big plan to arrest all my enemies. To me, that's how you would get people to not do anything. It's like, just tell them it's already being secretly done in a way that they can't tangibly see or prove. And then they just wait for months and months and months as small businesses die all across the country. And that's what I've seen happen all year. And I said this in March, and I'm not trying to be rude, because obviously if you research deep stuff and you understand stuff and that's all good. I'm not trying to knock you. There's real things. There's traps everywhere. You know, there's all this type of stuff going on. But the biggest backlash I got this year in March, when I tried to tell people that this was all coming, it wasn't from liberals. Liberals leave me alone. I think they just realized they're not going to win a debate with me, or maybe, you know, my following's too big, so they scare them or something. Thank God, with God's grace, liberals, for the most part, just leave me alone and live in their own upside down world. The most backlash I got was from patriots, conservatives, and people who told me that I was wrong because they thought John Durham had a plan. They thought Bill Barr had this secret plan. They thought lockdowns were good because the Vatican was getting arrested in Italy. When it came to America, they listened to people who told them the lockdown was to block all the celebrities from leaving so that they could arrest them. And I'm trying to warn the American people, this is communism. This is the Great Reset. This is the big shebang. And they've been subverted into thinking it's actually a secret good thing. That's not good. And it's not like it's over. I'm not hopeful. Then they're like, Anomaly, you have no hope. I'm like, no, you're getting brainwashed by the enemy into thinking a bad thing's a good thing, so you don't do anything about it. It's like if the enemy comes in your room and instead of like fighting them, you're like, oh, wait, no, that's Bill Barr's plan. He wants it's like, no, this is crunch time. Either you resist or you submit. I'm going to read a tweet I posted it on Facebook the other day. I don't know how many people saw it because they've kneecapped my page. This is from March 14th, 2020. This is 5 days before the first lockdown in America, 5 days before they locked us down. I said they're going to use this to push medical tyranny, obviously happened, mandated vaccines, obviously happened, government mandated lockdowns, I said this before the lockdown, obviously happened, authoritarian power grabs, obviously happened, even bigger speech censorship, obviously happened, life will never be the same, and Trump doesn't have a magic plan to save you till the end of time. That was me warning Trump's biggest supporters. I like the president, obviously. I'm not a supporter. I'm just saying, I'm trying to warn the biggest supporters that were such sycophants that they were like, this is good. Trump has the white hat. I'm like, guys, this is everything that Bill Cooper talked about for 20, 30 years. This is everything that was warned about from any libertarian or any conservative seeing how big government and the medical industry was swallowing up everything. This was the big shebang. This is the Great Reset. This is the communist takeover. This is all of it. And millions, I'm talking millions of Trump supporters didn't want to face that reality. They said to themselves, no way, he would never allow that to happen. He's just putting, do you know how many messages I've got? And everyone gets mad at me. They say, normally, that's not how I feel. If you don't feel that way, I'm not talking about you. If you do feel that way, I am talking about you. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you're in denial, oh well, it's F you till I get my freedom back. But in general, the amount of backlash I got all this year trying to just tell people Trump isn't going to save you. They're like, well, he can't save us. Well, I know exactly. That's what I'm saying. Well, he's putting Fauci on TV to expose Fauci. No, you don't expose Fauci to put him on TV. When they exposed Flynn, Trump fired him and he went to court. When they exposed Roger Stone, they arrested him, with the FBI or whoever they sent to his house. They're arresting your allies, and because nothing's happening, everybody wanted Trump to arrest all their enemies. So instead of realizing it didn't happen, the opposite happened. You got put on house arrest. You got locked down. Your favorite allies got arrested in front of your eyes. You had to make up theories to think that it was secretly happening because you just couldn't face the fact that it wasn't happening. So it's like at a certain point, the way to end this is to acknowledge it's happening. If you're in such denial that this is even happening, then it's going to happen. So that's my main message to people. And it's been that way since March. And I've gotten backlash from thousands of people spreading fake theories about Operation Warp Speed Anomaly. You don't understand. It's a secret way for Trump to beat the Bill Gates vaccine. First of all, Bill Gates funds 8 vaccines. Second of all, he's almost swallowed up the whole medical industry. Third of all, Moderna is the Bill Gates vaccine, and Trump is promoting it last week. So that theory was fake, but they never apologized. They keep moving on. No, he's funding billions of dollars to the pharmacy industry to beat them. No, he's just doing it because he has to do it because he has no power, which is okay if you just realize this. And we have to be the plan, folks. If tens of millions of Trump supporters think that it's going to happen, we just got fooled. That's all I'm saying. Someone said we're screwed. We're not screwed. This is the point I'm talking about. And I'm going to say this real quick. I support Sidney Powell and her lawsuits. I support Lin Wood and his lawsuits. Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, people like Ali, Stop the Steal, Alex Jones, whoever's out there trying to stop the steal. I support the idea that that's a productive thing to do. You talk to state legislatures, tell them that if Brian Kemp doesn't get us a fair election and he doesn't do an audit and him and his Secretary of State are sold out, then they're going to get primary next election. This is not trusting the plan. This is like, if you don't support the president that we like, then you're going to get primaried and you're going to lose your spot. To me, that's productive. Productive. It's not like waiting for someone else to do it. It's like taking action, doing it yourself. But in general, I support the election causes to stop the steal. But I said this on Instagram Live, and I'm just going to say it again. I just don't care that much anymore because I understand, and I want him to win, but he didn't stop communism, and he's certainly not going to be able to stop it in next year. So here's the pros and cons of Trump winning and losing. The pros are obvious. If Trump wins, if you like Trump, do I have to tell you why it's a pro? Name one topic that Trump is not better on than Joe Biden. You get what I'm saying? I don't have to sit here and list all the reasons that I want Trump to win. You know why. He's better on almost every single issue, domestic and foreign. But the one pro of Biden winning is Trump supporters will finally wake up out of this slumber of thinking that Trump's going to wipe their poopy butt for them. I trust the plan because Trump's going to poopy wipe my butt at night and I don't have to do anything. It's like, no, he's really not. If Biden wins, I guarantee you're going to stop making excuses for the lockdown. I guarantee millions of people will break out of the trust the plan slumber. I guarantee you're not going to say, well, Joe Biden doesn't have the power over the governors or the multinational corporations. I bet you're going to do what you should do and say, you know what? This is messed up. I need to go to my president. I need to go to my governor, whoever it is. This whole thing is not good. And I guarantee you, people will not give Joe Biden a pass. So that's the one pro of having a Biden president is people will finally wake up and reject the lockdowns in mass numbers. If Trump wins again, are we going to have 30% of the people waiting for John Durham? Are we going to have 30% of the people crying to me online and telling me why it's the governor's fault? It's beyond even the governors, folks. These multinational corporations, Trump has no power over them. I'm not blaming Trump. It's not his fault. He tried really hard It's probably not even possible for one person to do. You see it as loyalty. I see it as selfishness. I'm loyal to the president, but in my opinion, I'm more loyal to my country and the Constitution than I am the president. If the president does what he did last year and passes an anti-Semitism First Amendment speech law to help a lot of elite people and not your average Jew, it's really just an elite, First Amendment protection thing. I called it out. I don't care how much you guys like Charlie Kirk. I don't care how much you guys like Ben Shapiro. I don't care how much I like them. They were not for the Constitution last year. Trump passed anti-First Amendment speech legislation. I called it out. They called everybody an anti-Semite and a racist who knew that it was bad. And once you sell out the First Amendment a little bit, you sell it out a lot of it, and it goes away. So this year we lost all our freedom. I don't know what to tell you. In 2016, hold on. Why is he always calling me when I'm on live stream? Like he doesn't know. But in general, in 2016, the biggest people who supported President Trump, I'm just accurately documenting history, Milo Yiannopoulos, big journalist all over the television, and Alex Jones. Say what you want about Alex Jones. Love him or hate him. He had a YouTube channel with 1 billion views. Alex Jones was one of the biggest channels on YouTube. He, no question, helped get Trump elected, okay? With one of the biggest YouTube channels. He got wiped off of the internet in 2018. And who was there for him? We had the Congress, the Senate, the House, the presidency. The GOP did nothing to save their biggest supporters. When General Flynn got thrown under the bus, Trump fired him. I'm just saying. And then a bunch of neocons took over and they all stabbed him in the back. I'm not knocking the president. I'm just saying, at what point do you realize we have to be the plan? Like when you let your biggest supporters of 2016 get wiped out online and do nothing about it in 2018, we all got censored in 2019. The GOP did nothing about it. We all got censored in 2020. Communism happened and Jim Jordan takes money on Google's and talks about Operation Warp Speed. He's like drooling over vaccines. I blocked Jim Jordan on Twitter. Block. I don't want to see Jim Jordan's fake one-liner tweets anymore, taking money from Google, drooling over vaccines, doing nothing about the lockdowns. So if you want to be quite honest, I don't really care anymore. The GOP's done nothing for me. So why, go support them in Georgia. Why? So they could stab our president in the back again? Go support them in Georgia so they can not stop the steal and they can let our favorite president get cheated and do nothing about it while Kemp and Raffensperger do nothing about it. So they can just enrich themselves and do nothing to stop communism, do nothing to stop censorship. Who cares about them anymore? Just as much as you pressure the, Democrat governor, these people are not doing anything. The judges are great. The Supreme Court is awesome, but we just had an election, possibly stolen from us, and they're doing nothing. And they did nothing in 2016. They did nothing in 2018. I'm not blaming the president. I'm not blaming individual Republicans, but this idea that they're going to come save you is not true. So why am I saying this? To be mean, to call people out? No, to say there's a difference between being hopeful, optimistic, and happy, and being brainwashed. Being happy is like, this is, we'll make it happen. Being brainwashed is saying this isn't happening. Like they passed anti-First Amendment legislation in 2019. And only the America First kids cared about it. Me, the America First kids, Michelle Malkin, Cassandra Fairbanks, we're the only ones talking about it. And they tried to ruin our careers and call us a bunch of racist anti-Semites when Michelle Malkin's married to a Jew. It's like she's not only not anti-Semitic, she sleeps next to a Jewish guy every night probably. But the point I'm getting to is we weren't anti-Semitic or racist. We were pro-First Amendment. We believe in the Constitution. We believe that if you sell out hate speech for your worst enemies, you lose it for everyone. You want to talk about Muslims, but the left doesn't want you to, so they pass a speech law. The right doesn't want you to talk about anybody Jewish, so they pass a speech law. Once I realized that the GOP was passing anti-First Amendment speech laws, has nothing to do with how much I like Jewish people, has everything to do with the First Amendment of the Constitution is very clear on free speech. And once the Republican Party and Trump and Ron DeSantis, the best people in the GOP, they don't even care about it. At what point am I supposed to just sit and pretend like this isn't happening? So I talked about it. Everyone got mad at me. And that's the difference that I'm saying. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. Do I seem scared to you? Do I seem nervous? I don't have an ounce of scared in me. But the point I'm getting to is it's not hopeful to make up a fake theory about Bill Barr. That's not hopeful. That's brainwashed. That's taking you away from the solution to be complete. It's like hugging your pillow at night and just like expecting the Cookie Monster to come feed you like, ice cream sandwich. Like, it's like, it's not going to happen unless the Cookie Monster is real and I miscalculated. But the point I'm getting to is that's what people aren't understanding. They're like, you can be loyal to the president, but also be loyal to the Constitution, be loyal to American freedom. If the president's not getting rid of communism, he can't get rid of communism. You don't have to blame him. But when 20 million people are waiting for something that's not happening, and 20 million people are ignoring reality because it breaks what they want to be happening, it's not productive. It's not helpful. In no way, shape, or form is it helpful. I'm going to read this real quick. Jay Carr said, "It's all you've been doing is bitching about it." Well, I'll tell you what else I've been doing, Jay Carr. I got my medical mask exemption today, so I'm going to be fighting it legally. Now, when people try to make me wear a mask and it's against the law, I'll be filing lawsuits. So I've called it out since March. I've called it out since April. If everyone felt like me, Jay, this would have been over in April. If everybody felt like the trust the planners, we'd be in the exact same position now, because instead of fighting the lockdowns then, they were trusting the plan of lockdowns. So if everyone felt like me, it would be over. If everybody did what Ian Smith does of New Jersey, which is open his gym and open your business, it would be over. So I can't save the world. I'm sorry. I'm one person. Trump can't save the world either. He's one person. It's not my fault or Trump's fault. It's everybody's fault that got brainwashed into believing a fake plan. Someone said, calm down. You calm down, bro. I've told you last stream, and I'm going to tell you again, I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm passionate, but it's F you until I get my freedom back. I don't care if you're Governor Kemp. I don't care if you're Ron DeSantis. I think he's doing a great job in comparison to all these other Republicans. I don't care if you're Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, Trump, Don Jr. I don't care. It's F you until I get my freedom back. So if you can't do it, or it doesn't seem to be a priority to you, then it's a priority to me, and I'm not waiting for you. I don't care what you do. Okay. It's F you till I get my freedom back. It's been 8 months of communism. The multinational corporations aren't listening. They've done more to fund vaccine companies than they have to protect the Constitution. It's written in the Constitution. They've done nothing about it, folks. They've just doled billions of dollars to Pfizer and Moderna. You think that's going to get you your freedom back? Are you kidding me? What do you think they're doing with all that money? When you get money, you win. It's like when Bill Gates gives a bunch of grant money to all these media companies. What do you think that grant money does? It buys loyalty. They're not going to bash Bill Gates because they just got $100 million to Bill Gates. You think you could bash the person who just funded your entire organization? That's why Bill Gates, you take the money, you take the money, you take the money. Which pharma company, the list of pharmacy, media, and like school medical organizations that aren't being paid by Bill Gates has to be a shorter list than the ones that are getting paid by Bill Gates. The guy's doling out money everywhere. So when you're Trump and Jim Jordan tweeting about Operation Warp Speed, he said Operation Warp Speed is one of the best achievements in modern history. Yeah, for the devil, Jim Jordan. Who is this guy? This phony. I had to block him on Twitter. It's like he takes money from Google. He doesn't do anything about internet censorship. He tweets one-liners, and he brags about funding billions of dollars to vaccine companies. It's like, whoa, wow, thank you so much for your tweet. And then everyone gets mad at me all year. And then Fox News stabs them in the back. And then they're like, wait, I listened to Jim Jordan and Charlie Kirk on Fox News. They just say what you want to hear. What's the point of Charlie Kirk saying he supports the First Amendment when he supports anti-First Amendment legislation? Because all his donors and all the bigwigs in the business would turn against him if he didn't. And you get what I'm saying? It's like, I don't care what these people say anymore. Yes, I want Trump to win, but at the end of the day, he's not stopping the lockdowns either way. And in a calm manner, I'm going to tell you how. The tech companies, the airlines, people, corporate or government agencies like the CDC that can just get in your business and sue you and stuff, they're not going away. And here's the silver lining, the good part. It's up to you. That's all I want to say. If you take one thing out of this, get mad at me, hate me, unfollow me. I really don't care at this point. But what I'm trying to tell you is if tens of millions of people are going to wait for Trump to do it, you're going to be waiting forever. If tens of millions of people wait for QAnon to do it, you're going to be waiting forever. If 100 million people, it's how many patriots are going to realize what's going on and actually do something about it. Am I telling you that you can do everything? No, but I do know when it comes to Trump supporters, this is an estimation. Then I'm going to read the super chats. Say we have 60% of the population supports the president. Let's just say, this is an example. 60% supports the president. 30% trust the plan and they're waiting for Bill Barr. Well, they're pretty much useless because they're not doing anything. Then you have 20% that just wants to make excuses. Anomaly, you don't understand. Operation Warp Speed, you're useless. And then out of the rest of the population, everybody's afraid to do anything. They don't want to run their business. They don't want to do this. They're afraid of the consequences. So when you get down to the patriots that actually want to fight the lockdowns, you're talking about less than 1% of the populations. That's why nothing gets done. Guys, we have the numbers. We've had the numbers since March. And the reason I'm so passionate about this, and I'm not trying to be rude, you think I don't know what the Q people know about? You think you're blowing my mind with your wizardry of stuff that I knew in 2016? I know that child trafficking is real. I know that human trafficking is real. You're not blowing my mind with this information that, Julian Assange helped try to, reveal in 2016 and get everybody on board. This is not new to me. What I'm saying is just because that's real doesn't mean that Bill Barr secretly has some plan for you. It's like me telling you something, being like, yo, check this link from 2016 that shows, or look at this bust. Trump just busted 100 human traffickers at the border. Check that out. So that means that Durham is going to save you. And then you're like, well, it has to be true because he showed me that. It's like, no, it's like truth. Wait for a blackout. Wait for a blackout. You know how many people messaged me in March and I said all this was happening and they're like, Anomaly, just wait for the blackout. I'm like, you're pro internet blackout? They're like, well, 15 days of darkness. I'm like, who told you that? They're like, Q. Oh, the anonymous message riddler that you think's a government agent told you to support blackouts during a communist takeover. How much more brainwashed could you get from a right-wing perspective? Do you know who else is planning for a blackout? Klaus Schwab of World Economic Forum. He's planning a digital cyber polygon conference where they're talking with Equifax and a lot of these other big digital companies. They're talking about a big digital reset. So you think it's a good thing. So when a digital reset happens, who and the ones who get pissed at me, they say, Anomaly, I'm not like that. If you're not like that, you're not like that. But that millions of people who support this stuff are waiting for a day of darkness. So when a blackout happens and it's a bad thing, they're going to think it's a secret good thing. Just like they thought the lockdown was a good thing, folks. And everybody's like, no, that's not true. Literally, my message was inundated. Anomaly, do you work for Mossad? Who paid you to say this? Who paid me to be against lockdowns? You think someone has to pay me to be against the government shutting down business? I independently looked at what was going on and was like, the government is transferring wealth. The government, who paid you to do that? Mossad, you're working for, you don't even know who Mossad is. Mossad is Israeli intelligence. Trump is pro-Israel. Trump has done more for Zionists in Israel than anybody's done. And he passed an anti-Semitism bill in 2019. Like, you think you're some secret super wizard because you read a QAnon post. You're like, we're fighting Israel, saving them for last. You're not fighting Israel when you support the president who passes anti-Semitism free speech laws. And then you get wiped off of the internet. You're like, where did my Twitter account go? Your Twitter account got deleted because the GOP doesn't give a crap about you. And Trump didn't care until his Twitter got censored. And nobody in the Republican Party cares about you. In fact, they condemned you. I don't condemn you. I just debate with you and have conversations. They condemned you, and then you got wiped off of social media, and you're still pledging allegiance to the party that literally doesn't care about you. Someone said, you're important. You know it. Focus. Step back. You sound erratic. I'm not erratic. I couldn't possibly be more passionate. I'm going to read 2 super chats before they disappear. Janet Partridge says, yep, they threw the great man under the bus. God bless Trump and God bless you. Appreciate it. Monica said, nut up or shut up, people. This is why we're still here 8 months later. He can't do it alone. We need to. Exactly. I'm not erratic. I just feel like a record player fighting with my own team. I'm not. You can believe what you want to believe, but I'm just saying, if everybody felt the way that I felt, it would have been over already. And I'm not the only one. There's people. There's Shelley Luther, Ian Smith. But why are they the only ones? MacArthur in California. Why are they the only ones? There's businesses. Why is it only like 20 people? Why isn't it 2 million people? And I'm telling you why it is that. It's because tens of millions of people who support the president think that there's some secret plan that's going to save them instead of saving themselves. That's what I'm talking about. Someone said, I don't want to be you. You shouldn't. Just do what you can. I'm not saying you have to be me. I'm just saying, like, people are like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't do it all, but I'm just telling you, Trump can't do it all either. People, like, the amount of backlash I get for saying this stuff, People are more interested in arguing with me about why Trump can and can't do it than why it's even happening in the first place. I don't think Trump can do it. I'm not saying it's his fault. He can't do it. But the difference between me and some people is I know he can't do it. I've known since March he can't do it. I actually tweeted out everything that was going to happen and with under it saying Trump can't do anything about it in March. I'll read my tweet again. Did you think this in March, or did you think there was some secret plan to save you and Trump's going to wipe your butt? I said they're going to use this to push medical tyranny, mandated vaccines, government mandated lockdowns, authoritarian power grabs, even bigger speech censorship. Life will never be the same, and Trump doesn't have a magic plan to save you till the end of time. Does that mean I hate Trump? No, it means I like him, and I know he's not going to do anything about it. But millions of people think he's going to do something. Like, you don't understand his second term, he's going to do it. He can't do it, guys. He has no plan to stop these lockdowns. He has no plan, no strategy, no ability. He's totally been bamboozled. He's not even barely tweeting because they just stole the election from him. And he knows he probably doesn't even have a plan to get it back. He's trying his best. So is Sidney Powell. So is Giuliani. But he just got totally bamboozled this year. I'm not blaming him. He jabbed President Z a few times. And then he got uppercutted this year and our whole country got subverted and he wasn't able to combat it. And now he's facing losing an election. And now at a certain point, maybe people will realize it's even bigger than that. People have to do something about it. He doesn't have a magic plan to save us. Someone said, World Economic Forum Twitter post tells us what they want to do. Vaccines, the Great Reset, 5G from the sky, lab created meat. Danny Flower, exactly. This stuff's all out there. And it's not that I think they're going to win, but they're going to win if no one does anything about it. I've never, and this is why people, you seem sporadic, you seem erratic. I've had this battle with people since March, and they've accused Anomalies bought out by who? No one's paying me. Anomalies being puppeted. No manager, I do everything myself, even run my shop 100% myself. If you ever got an email from me, it's actually from me. I know it has a different name, because I created it with a friend who's never really done anything. I was going to let him temporarily manage it. I do everything myself. But the point I'm trying to get to is I got backlash since March, not from liberals for this, from Trump supporters who didn't want to acknowledge that it's happening. We win if we properly identify what's going on and then combat it. That's why I know you don't want to hear this, but I'm telling everybody, Jim Jordan, all of them, F you until I get my freedom back. He tweets more about vaccines than he tweets about, he has no strategy to end the lockdowns. He's like, the Operation Warp Speed is so great. No, Operation Warp Speed sucks. And so do you. It's like, oh, it's 8 months of communism, Jim Jordan. Where are you? What do? You have no plan. You're just one-linering us to death. You guys have no strategy. You've done nothing to combat the CDC. Nothing. And I've said this since April. I got mad at Trump from I'm not going to say mad, but I called him out from April till May. Some people liked it, some people didn't. Elon Musk was doing more to save the republic than Trump was doing. Elon Musk called it tyrannical when Trump still supported it. Elon Musk came out and told everybody the data. It's not hard to explain this stuff to people, but I only have so much reach. I can't even get through to some of my own family members, but they like Trump. They listen to Fox News and the media. Why are they not doing breakdowns about how these deaths are actually happening? How are the deaths scaled? There's no transparency whatsoever during this COVID stuff. It's like scare. And then Trump gets on TV in May and says, if I didn't do the shutdown, millions of people are going to die. 100 million people listen to anything Trump says. And he gets on TV and says a million people would have died if he didn't lock down. That's fake news. That never would have happened. There's no data anywhere on the planet that says not locking down would have caused a huge excess of millions of lives. It didn't happen in Sweden. All the top countries are in deaths per capita or lockdown. There's no country doing worse than lockdown countries in deaths per capita. None. Doesn't exist. Top 6, all lockdown countries. So even he was lying. I'm not blaming him for everything, but when you're the most powerful conservative leader in the country and you're doing nothing to combat the lockdowns, a few tweets, no data, no one from actually literally giving people the CDC narrative. Operation Warp Speed, millions of people would have died, but yeah, lockdowns are bad. Is that going to move the needle on the American public? It's not. It's really not. So I'm not erratic. I'm passionate. I am not. Here's what I'm saying. I'm not waiting another day. If a leader is not prioritizing ending the lockdowns, then at a certain point, what's the point? if you're not concerned or have no plan for this, then there needs to be another plan, because I've waited for 8 months and there's nothing, just crickets and Operation Warp Speed tweets. I'm over it. Someone said, open your business. Someone said, you're just mad you're in a blue state. Folks, I'm going to say this too. I went to South Dakota, the most free nation in the country, or the most free state in the country. I went to South Dakota and I watched a woman get pulled off the airlines in South Dakota by a police officer, folks. We back the blue, they arrest us in DC. We back the blue, they take us off an airline in South Dakota. So all these people laughing in Texas and South Dakota. Is it better to be in South Dakota than California? Not weather-wise, but freedom-wise, of course. But the multinational corporations are killing businesses, and they already have a huge foothold in South Dakota and Texas. And when they get power, they're going to implement plans, and no one's going to stop them. So California has one of the biggest economies in the world. If the California economy goes down, America goes down. I hate to say it, but you could laugh all you want, but we are the United States of America. So as much as you think you're super free and you're not going to have to deal with this stuff, you're never going to be able to fly again overseas if this doesn't change. Any sort of travel, any sort of vacation, even your own economics rely on the top 50, 60 companies in America. A lot of them are in blue areas. So if our country fails, every state's going to fail as well. It's going to be better, probably, but I mean, you're just mad because you're in a blue state. No, I'm really not. I don't want to see, I'm sorry that I don't want to see millions of small businesses lose it. Yeah, I'll just move to South Dakota and say F everybody else. No, I mean, I don't live in Los Angeles, but I'm still fighting for them. Their whole city's going to die. I moved because I knew it was going to die, but it's like, that doesn't make it okay just because it's not happening to me. I could move to Texas right now. That's fine, but that's not going to help the country. Someone said, dude, you're right. You even called out my POS Governor Murphy. And here's what I want to say too. I know people don't want to hear this, but I literally don't care. In, what was it? March, April, May, New Jersey, and what is it? Phil Murphy. And then you have and Gavin Newsom in California. When I was locked in my house in April and May, Trump was having dinner with Murphy and he's complimenting Murphy. How do you think I felt? I'm being treated like a slave. How do you think this guy felt being treated like a slave for 2 months? And Trump is meeting with Governor Murphy and saying he did such a good job. I called it in March. I said, Trump, he's only being nice to you because you're giving him power. You're giving him money. Phil Murphy doesn't give a shit about Trump. Phil Murphy wanted authoritarian power and Trump gave it to him, and Trump didn't fight him, and Trump complimented him. He gave him ventilators. He gave him millions of dollars. And Trump, did Trump not know that? Either it's a setup or he's very naive. He's like, oh, really good job, Phil Murphy. I like Trump, but I like my freedom first. If Trump can allow me to live like a human being, then I love Trump. And I've supported him even this whole time. If he's going to not even do anything when I get treated like an animal, then I could care less at this point. Trump or Biden, none of them are going to stop the lockdowns, okay? The only difference, in my opinion, is one, Trump will try, and two, if Biden wins, people will realize what I'm saying right now. It's like, do you need Trump to lose in order to figure this out? It's better for him to be here. It's better for Trump to be in the White House. But if you can't figure this out while Trump's in the White House, then maybe you need a rude awakening because you're like waiting for something that's not happening. It's like if Biden wins, all the excuses go out the window, all the Trump, like no one will say what they're saying to me right now. In March, April, May, people are more interested in making up theories about why they think it's going to end instead of actually ending it. Someone said, if Biden wins, kiss your ass goodbye. It doesn't matter, folks. I mean, yeah, I'm going to be the first one that goes to the gulag. I don't care either way, but Trump's not stopping them either. I don't know what to tell. If Trump wins, he's not, I don't see a single plan to stop any of this. He has no plan. He gave billions of dollars to the vaccine companies. He's cooperated with the CDC every step of the way. He said one or two tweets against them while funneling money to them. I'm sorry. He has no plan to save you. Someone said, thank God for the sheriffs who won't abide. That's it. Sheriffs, mayors, governors, citizens, everyone needs to not comply. If you have a business, open your business. I mean, do it on your own terms, but I would. If you're a citizen, stop taking it. Stop. The amount of people that are like, I'm just going to wait till there needs to be so much resistance that it ends tomorrow. And if any leader on the planet's not focused on it ending tomorrow, then that's not my leader at this point. It's like, what are you waiting for? We've had 8 months. So do not comply. Do not be complacent. I'm figuring out every way I can, financially, legally, digitally, obviously news-wise. I've poured my heart and soul into my videos, gotten hundreds of millions of people to see it over this shutdown, and lost almost all my revenue on the biggest platform in my reach for doing so. So I put my whole career on the line. I don't care. I'm not crying. I'm not that special. I'm just saying I've done everything I can career-wise, and I've lost my biggest source of revenue over it and my biggest reach. I've done everything I can news-wise. Now I'm doing everything I can legal-wise. I could just say, oh, I make videos. It doesn't matter. Now I'm doing it on the ground. Now I'm doing it to small businesses. Now I'm trying to figure out how to get my medical mask exemption. I got it. So now I'm going to go into big corporations. And if they don't abide by their own rules, I'm going to sue the shit out of them. So I'm doing everything I can on every level to do what I can, but I'm only one person. So if there's 10,000 business owners like Ian Smith, this thing is over tomorrow. But if Ian Smith's the only gym who opens, he sticks out like a hammer and he gets hammered down, but he's still, I mean, that's what a beast that guy is. He stuck out. He's one of the only gyms in New Jersey. He took the fines and he still did it. I know businesses in California that never closed. They gave him a fine and they said, F you, and they never paid the fine, and they don't have to because it's unconstitutional. Folks, this is all psychological. And this is the main point of what I'm saying. This has been this way since March, but the left has been brainwashed. A lot of right-wingers have been brainwashed with the COVID fear, but a lot of them have been brainwashed by QAnon. I'm going to stop sugarcoating it. It's good to research human trafficking. It's good to research child trafficking. It's good to go deeper than Fox News. All that's fine. What's not fine is secretly thinking that's brainwashing you into complacency. If you wouldn't have acted that way and tens of millions of patriots would have realized the threat at hand, it would be over. But if tens of millions of patriots are thinking that it's already secretly happening somewhere, so they're just going to sit and celebrate, haha, we won. Like, these people are laughing in my comments as everyone's losing everything in it. Like, you don't understand Anomaly. Durham's not doing shit. Barr's not doing shit. Somebody lied to you. They're brainwashing you. That's the point I'm getting to. This happens when millions of patriots realize what's going on and they end it. It's over. If millions of patriots want to make excuses for Trump, trust the plan, then just have fun. It's never ending. It doesn't matter if Trump wins. Wait till Trump wins. He has no plan, folks. You need to, whether it's President Trump or Biden or Newsom or Murphy or whoever it is, it shouldn't be up to them. Like, Anomaly, you're erratic. No, I'm passionate. I take this same energy to a restaurant. I take this same energy to a courtroom, although I probably would shave or something and act a little more normal. This is my energy. It's F you till I get my freedom back. If 1 million people said this, it's over. If 1 million people just wait and say it's going to be the election, whether it's Trump, lockdowns are unnecessary or it's not acceptable. I don't care who's in office. I don't care who's the governor. I don't care who's the mayor. I'm doing everything I can on local level. I'm talking to the mayor. I'm trying to get a meeting, everything where it's like, yeah, we're going to open up. We need to open up indoors too. That's great that you're opening up outdoors. That's great that you're against the lockdowns. We need to open up indoors too, because even outdoors isn't enough. This is never going to end. I'm not doing, give me 30%, give me 40%. No, I'm not a slave. I want 100% of freedom. And that's what it is. It's F you till I get my freedom back. So I'm not, oh, wow, we can eat outside for 30% capacity. No, I want 100% capacity inside. And I want 1 million people to demand it. And I want people to realize, as a governor or a mayor or whoever, you're not going to be there for very long. Okay. You're not going to win the next election if you don't do it. If you're Governor Kemp, okay, you're not going to win the next election if you don't protect our president from stopping the steal. If you're Raffensperger, you're certainly not going to be there next time because we're going to primary you. We're already finding candidates to beat you. And then we're going to tell everybody who supports the president, which is almost every Republican, to vote for that guy instead of you. So you don't want to protect our president in Georgia, then you're not going to be there. It's not your party anymore. It's the people's party. So I don't care about your little primary. That's great. I hope the Republicans win, but they need to feel the pressure, folks. That's what I'm saying. Not physically, financially, digitally, and vote-wise. You don't win if you don't do this. It's that easy, someone said. It is that easy. It really is. And I'll tell you what, they did that in Georgia. They did the stop the steal peacefully. And a lot of these Republicans woke up because Dude, they're getting ratioed. This is what I told people even in April. I said, guys, I like Trump, but show pressure. No one pressured him except for I was the only one pressuring him. Like, listen, I like the guy. Okay, I've been to the White House. You think I'm not risking my connections on the table? Like when I say this stuff, I'm not going to get invited anywhere. I don't care. But I'm just saying, I people know, yeah, I like the president. But in April, I'm pressuring the president. I'm saying ratio him until he stops doing this. If he doesn't stop doing this, our job is to protect the Constitution over that. We have to do this. So now, if you want to see an example, Governor Kemp is getting ratioed on all his Twitter posts. He says, I'm at the Georgia game. I say, you're gone, Kemp. You're not going to be there in 2 years. You won't protect our president. You turned your back on the Republican Party. The Republican Party doesn't like you anymore. My comment gets 3,000, 4,000 up likes. His comment gets under 1,000. And there's 1,000 comments under my comment that have more likes than his like. It's digital, but that's the digital way to fight back. You don't support the president, you get ratioed. You don't support the Constitution, you get ratioed. Your life becomes miserable, okay? And I'm not talking about what the left does. They do death threats and all this stuff. That's not what we do. We do it peacefully. We do it nicely. We're not going to send death threats to people like they do. That's messed up. But at the end of the day, folks, it's like only one side knows what's going on. One side takes it seriously. The other side's like, don't say anything to them. Let them eat with their dinner. It's like if they're destroying the business of tens of thousands of people and tens of thousands of restaurants, and then that governor wants to go in public and eat at a restaurant, you have the First Amendment right to tell them, F you, you're destroying this state. It's like everyone wants to be so nice. No, let them get ratioed, folks. That's good. That's we the people, the constituents, talking to the phony. And then when you do that, the stop the steal combined with the digital protest, guess what they do? Guess what Kemp is going to do? He's going to get his shit together, because if he doesn't, his life is going to be miserable. So these are the games that we play, folks. And that's all it even took in April. You know, we could have done this in April. We could have done this in March, but no one wanted to do it because everyone supports the president so much. They don't want to give him any backlash. You know, it's like, I like Trump, but he needs to get the point. We will not stand for these lockdowns. And he was pro lockdown for 2 months, folks. He didn't figure out the lockdowns were bad until like a month and a half after most Republicans. So, but no one wants to say anything. They need to feel the pressure peacefully, but no one wants to do it. So that's what it is. It's not a mean, this is not me. I feel more passionate than ever. It's like most people just give Trump the pass because they like him. Most people in the Republican Party don't want to do anything because they're nice people. But this, I'm just going to feed my family for 3 years and I don't want to deal with it. I wish I could tell you that it's going to work, but I know what these people are doing at high levels. They're going to skew the data. They're going to lie to people. They're going to be wrong. They're not going to care. Jim Jordan's going to tweet one-liners. Charlie Kirk's going to tweet one-liners, and they're going to incrementally just screw your business over until you don't have a business. So there is no like, it's going to go away in 3 years. None of the Republican Party is doing anything. All of them are just tweeting one-liners and sucking up millions of donor dollars to do absolutely nothing when it's crunch time for the country. And your business is just going to get whittled down until you don't have one anymore. So there is no wait it out. We're not waiting. We're taking action digitally, protesting physically, business-wise, financially, in courts, legally. That's what it's going to come down to. All right, let's see what y'all are talking about. Someone said, I question everything and everybody as well. It's good, but it's like, listen, there's good people that might have their hands tied. I don't know what it's like to work for a corporation. I don't have to not say anything, guys. People say, Anomaly, who are you working for? No one. That's why I talk a lot of shit. If I worked for TPUSA, I wouldn't be able to talk this shit. They'd fire me, so I'd have to be a phony. If I worked for Daily Wire, if I said something about the anti-Semitism speech laws, which are unconstitutional, Ben Shapiro would fire me. So I could talk big shit because I don't work for these people. So what I'm saying is you might like their personality. You might like Trump, but I don't know what it's like to be in the White House. I don't have to talk. I'm not getting billions of dollars from Sheldon Adelson. And, I'm not next to these people in meetings and stuff. He might have his hands tied. There might be nothing Trump could do, and it's not his fault. That's why I support him. I understand his role, and I understand my role. The difference is I know his hands might be tied. People want to act like he's got everything under the sun. He needs your help. It's not loyal to do nothing for your country. It's selfish. It's selfish thinking that Trump's going to do everything for you. He might not be able to do anything for you. I don't know why your favorite news analysts are lying. Maybe if they don't lie, they can't be at Fox News. Maybe if they don't lie, they get fired from, where they get their money. I don't get my money from anywhere else besides the people. I get it. Well, I was getting it from Facebook before they took most of it. Now I only get some of the subscriptions. I don't get it directly from Google like a campaign donation. I get ad revenue from my YouTube videos. I get money on Patreon. I have a donor box, which is kind of the same as Patreon. I sell shirts on Shopify, and that's pretty much it. There is no other secret funding or that's why I'm telling you this stuff. And I'm not saying it to say anything. I'm just telling you there's a million reasons why people might not be doing what you think they should do. But my job and your job is not to figure out why they're lying. Our job is to ratio them on social media until they stop lying. I don't care why Trump's doing it or Charlie Kirk's doing it. I don't care why Jim Jordan's doing it. He needs to not do it. I don't care why Governor Kemp's doing it. Maybe he took a Chinese donation or something. Maybe he's got his partner's friends with Dominion. I don't know, but my problem's not to figure out why he's doing it. My problem's to stop them from doing it. You get what I'm saying? It's no different from people they don't think that people in news can be sold out because they like their personality. I'll give you an example. Out of everybody watching my live stream, I think we have almost 3,000 people between the two social networks. How many of you love your job? I bet a lot of people love their job. I bet a lot of people are only working their job to get money. In fact, probably a majority of people who are watching this, they are only working to get paid. So I'm not knocking it. Everyone does it. I'm just saying the same thing applies to media. How many people in the media hate their job, hate what they say? They just go along with it just to get the money. If you're a scientist, who has the money? Oil companies. You might not care about oil, but you want to make six figures. If you do certain jobs that are physical labor, you might enjoy it and be grateful, but at the end of the day, it really is the money that keeps you there. And it's like you get what I'm saying? So I'm not knocking anyone for doing it. I'm just saying that same logic, like we've all worked multiple jobs that we don't like just to make the money. Think about these news people who get paid millions of dollars to be pieces of shit, So it's like, just because you like their personality, it's like, oh man, would they do that? They do what everyone else at every other job does. You get what I'm saying? It's like they just do it at a news angle. It's extra sneaky, but it's the same as working at a call service and you don't like the company. You work for, Amazon at the call line, but you hate Amazon, but they're paying you. There's millions of people who do that every day. So I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying it's not our job to figure out why they're not doing something or give them the benefit of the doubt. It's our job to demand that they do it. If they're a governor and their friends sold out and they're lying to us because they took money, I don't care. No lockdowns. If it's Trump and he's, got his hands tied by multiple agencies or something, God bless him. But our job is not to make excuses for why. Our job is to end it. Say, we don't know who's tying your hands or what you can or can't do, but we, the people, whether it's Trump or Biden, don't want it. You get what I'm saying? Someone said, do Steven Crowder. I'm not picking on people. I don't know Steven Crowder that well. I'm just saying there's certain things you can and can't do when you work for certain companies. You know what I'm saying? Newsmax was talking about hiring me. I don't know where we're at with that. They're busy. But if they do, I haven't even got the contract yet. But if I get the contract, I have to read the contract, because in the contract, I'll just be straightforward with you now. They were saying, well, we might not want you to go on this news station or something, where it's like, there's things that you can and can't do, not only contractually, just pressure wise. But I wouldn't do that. That's the difference. If I don't have 100% freedom, I'm very content doing what I do anyway. But some people, it's a social thing. Last year, I'll give you an example. I'm just letting you in on the inside. Do you know how many of my peers, my friends, people that you watch and you love, do you know how many of them told me not to tell everybody that Republicans were selling out the First Amendment? God bless the Jews who watch my channel, Israelis who watch my channel, Jews for Anomaly, Jews for Trump, Israelis for Trump, Israelis for Anomaly. But you know how many people told me to not say what I said, not because it wasn't right. They know what I said is right. When Trump passed anti-Semitism executive orders, when Ron DeSantis passed an anti-Semitism speech bill, Google it. When they did all this stuff and I read it, I thought to myself, of course, I don't have any problem with Jews, but I believe in the First Amendment. I don't care if it's a Jew, a Muslim, a Christian. I should be able to say what I want about the Pope. I should be able to say what I want about Zuckerberg. That I should be able to, ethnically tie people and realize that they're doing it for ethnic reasons. This is not hateful. This is factual. So when I realized they were doing that, I told everybody, this is an anti-First Amendment bill. Do you know how many people told me that know that I was right, that told me to not say that? Not because it wasn't true, not because it wasn't First Amendment, because they said, well, Charlie Kirk might get mad, or Ben Shapiro might get mad, and you're not going to be able to. I don't want to curse, but I don't want to be around these people if they're not really pro First Amendment. So people on the inside who get paid by these people and take these big, work at all these organizations, they said, Anomaly, you're going to burn some bridges. Good. Then let them burn, because I stand for the American people, not phony BS patriots who go around to schools and tell you that they're pro free speech and then behind closed doors sell out free speech for their donors and for big business, because you're not going to go to the table with the billionaire if you don't do what they say. So they're all phonies. They're all pieces of shit. So I don't give a fuck about anybody anymore. They sold this country out in 2019. I saw it in 2019. And now the country's sliding into communism. And you know who's not doing anything about it? Those same motherfuckers that weren't doing anything last year. Because all they do is suck up your money, suck up donor money, throw events for people like Dan Crenshaw who don't believe in the first two amendments, lie to you with personality, and don't do anything for the American people. So I could care less. I know this firsthand because I'm in the industry. And this is why I don't go to events. This is why you don't see me speaking at colleges, because I'm not a liar. When I say I believe in the First Amendment, I mean it. I have Muslim friends, God bless them. And I understand in their religion, it has a certain speech thing, but I'm an American and I'm a Christian. So I want America to be a Christian nation, okay? Not a Sharia law nation. So they understand that. I understand that. We're very straightforward. God bless my Jewish supporters, but I don't believe that there should be laws that say I can't say that Jewish people are dominating banking and media when everybody knows they're dominating banking and media. So I don't care how much, money they give to Turning Point or whatever they're doing. I don't care what they think. That's the truth. I believe in the First Amendment. None of these people actually believe in the First Amendment. Every time people call them out, they blacklist them from events, call them an anti-Semite, and gatekeep. They don't gatekeep the Constitution. They're not gatekeeping the First Amendment. They're not gatekeeping the Second Amendment. They're not even gatekeeping Trump. They're gatekeeping their own money and power, and they're selling out the American people every step of the way. And I saw this happen last year, and I saw it happen this year. So it's no shock to me, because I've heard why people wanted me to say it. Do you think they didn't want me to say it because it wasn't true? Did they say, Anomaly, don't say that, it's not true? No, they said, Anomaly, they're going to call you alt-right. They're going to call me alt-right. That's outlandish, but I'm not. They're going to call you that. I don't give a fuck what they call me. Why don't I call them devils? How about that? I can make up names for you. Devils, demons, liars, traitors. We all have names for each other. Anomaly, don't. So I'd go and tell them, well, this is why it's true. And then they'd cut the podcast. They'd be like, well, Anomaly, I know that's true. And I know I have but don't you want to get on it? Don't you want to go here with Ben Shapiro? No. I could care less about Ben Shapiro. If he doesn't support the First Amendment, I don't care about him, just like I don't care about freaking Gavin Newsom. So it's like these people, you think these people you follow are all about the First Amendment. They just pretend like they do for money. And then when push comes to shove, they'd rather side with the money and power than with the First Amendment. I'd rather side with the First Amendment, because you know what? I also know multiple things. One, I'd rather be homeless and tell the truth than be a liar and sell out my country. But secondly, I know that God will bless me, and I know I'm a hard worker. And if I have to do something else, I'll do something else. I'm a hustler. So I'm not going to take the easy route for that. I'm not a puppet. They can't control me. They can't do the work I could do. They don't want to broadcast the work I do because it's honest. I don't care. I'll broadcast it myself. 650 million views. No manager, no corporation, no sponsor, no donor, none of these groups. And you think they don't know my work? They've hired everybody under the sun. They got 10,000 employees except for me. They know what I'm doing. They don't want to show the masses what I'm doing because they want to gatekeep their own money. I've seen it happen. And it's no shock to me that there's more than I even knew. Like, oh, we have a Republican control of Georgia, but we can't stop the steal. Why can't we stop the steal? We have a majority because they're taking money from Dominion or something. Like what? It's like, I know who these people are. And it's politics, folks. It's a sick little game these people are playing, but it is what it is. Someone said, be wise as a servant. Why? I serve God. I serve the country. And, I look out for myself in the sense of like self-preservation, like, change yourself to change the world. But I refuse. If I tell you I believe something, I really mean it. There's going to be no behind closed doors. Well, I'm not going to say that because I think they're no. I literally say everything, and then people say, "No, I couldn't possibly be less sold out." Like no one does what I do. No one goes here, talks for 2 hours every day, and answers 100 questions. Most people, I answer more questions in 30 minutes than they answer in 3 years. You could add if you have a problem. Well, no, he's working. No, I'm literally not. But it's okay. All right. Someone said new game. Every time Anomaly says something true, take a shot. You'll be drunk very quickly. Someone said Anomaly's going scorched earth. I am going scorched earth this year because I watched everything I thought could possibly happen in 10 years happen instantly in a year. Like now you have Cory Booker talking about racial land grants and stuff. Guys, this is South Africa. I knew South Africa was coming to America in 2030. I just didn't think it would happen this fast. I gave it 20 years and it happened in 2 years. Okay. I knew medical tyranny was coming. I thought it was only coming to California. I said, you can find my tweets last year. I said, this is all going to happen in New York and California. And then they pulled out a scheme to do it through the whole country. So it's like everything I thought would happen in 15 years literally happened under 3 months. And all of these allies that I thought would be there for America are just nowhere to be found. But it's not surprising because if you don't protect the First Amendment or the Second Amendment, I'm just going to say it. You're not my friend. Okay. It's like, if you can't protect freedom of speech, you can't do it for Jews. You can't do it for Muslims. You can't do it for Christians. Freedom of speech. Okay. Freedom of a religion, which now we don't have because they're shutting churches down, but it's not about making laws for certain groups of people. It's about not doing that. That's like the whole First Amendment. So if you can't protect the First Amendment, you're not my friend. And I realized a lot of these conservatives apparently are not my allies. If you can't stand up for the Second Amendment and you start floating ideas of red flag laws and not even understanding, like, listen, I wish mentally ill people could not have a gun, obviously, but if you don't understand how red flag laws are going to be used against people and you float that idea like Dan Crenshaw, clearly you're not my ally either. Like, you don't know how red flag laws could be used against people. Yeah, in a perfect world, red flag laws. It's not a perfect world. That's the whole reason the Second Amendment exists, is because it's not a perfect world. If it was a perfect world, we don't need the Second Amendment. If it was a perfect world, we could use red flag laws, but it's not. So anybody who floats the idea of red flag laws without immediately understanding why, from a right-wing perspective, it's a bad idea, clearly you're not my friend. I don't know what to tell you. Someone said, I'll never kneel. I'll kneel for God. That's it. I'm not kneeling for any of these other people. All right. I got like 10, 20 more minutes and I'm going to roll out. Probably 10 more minutes. I'll read some comments. Someone said, protect the First Amendment. Yes. And I'm going to repeat this again one more time and I'm going to move on. Last year, I don't need to tell you about the millions of ways left-wingers are selling out the First Amendment. Left-wing tech companies, are there any like left-wingers in prominent positions that even believe in free speech anymore? I don't know them. Obviously the left sells it out, but I tried to show people last year how the right's selling it out. Look up the anti-Semitism speech laws, Google anti-Semitism State Department, Google Ron DeSantis school anti-Semitism laws, Google executive order Trump anti-Semitism laws. They're passing anti-First Amendment speech laws in the guise of helping Jewish people, but no middle class or lower class or even upper class Jews are going to be protected by these laws. These laws are to protect Zuckerberg, Susan Wojcicki. That's all. Like, read the laws. It's like, you're not allowed to talk about banking and media. You're like, well, that's clearly not First Amendment. So I realized this stuff last year and no one wanted to hear it because all their idols were passing these laws. I hate to bring the bad news, but I saw this and I'm like, there needs to be some sort of resistance to this, you know? It's like we have to believe in the First Amendment. I'm not trying to pick on Trump or Charlie Kirk, but it's like, if you don't protect speech for the worst speech, you don't get speech. Even Noam Chomsky used to know that, okay? And he's like a communist, anarcho-communist weirdo. But even he knew what free speech was. He used to defend like World War II talk about Nazi Germany, and he's a Jew. And they would say, Noam Chomsky, you're helping the Nazis. Noam Chomsky, you're an anti-Semite. And he said, no, I don't believe what they said, but I understand. This is what Noam Chomsky used to say, a left-wing communist, basically Jew protecting anti-Jewish speech. He used to say, if you don't protect speech for the worst people and the worst ideas, you're not going to have it for the best ideas. He said Goebbels from Germany believed in speech he agreed with. He said Stalin agreed with speech he agreed with. This is not free speech if you only agree with speech you agree with. And both sides of politics don't seem to get that. It's like, well, Ilhan Omar hurt my feelings. So Ilhan Omar sucks, but that doesn't mean we sell out the First Amendment for Ilhan Omar because she can't tell the truth. I feel like I'm living in crazy world. And like 90% of Republicans like didn't understand that. They're like, but that's anti-Semitism. We need to fight back. It's like, you don't sell out the Constitution to fight back. That's not how you fight back. Oh my goodness. Someone said Corona is the devil's gift to Democrats. I mean, I agree with that, Hope. That's a great way to put it. Someone said smash like. Thank you, Theo Garcia. I appreciate you, brother. Someone said gobbles. Ha ha ha. Well, yeah, I think it's Goebbels. He was like the Nazi like propaganda minister or something. I don't know, but I'm just roughly quoting stuff. Someone said nurses are retiring early to avoid the vaccination, said Carolina. Hey, that's what it's going to take. I feel like a lot of the medical industry plays ball because they have to. We're all going to have to make sacrifices. It sucks, folks. I wish I could tell you me and Trump and like 10 people could do this, and that's it. Or like, Dan Crenshaw and Jim Jordan can do it. I wish I could tell you that you didn't have to do it, but we're all going to have to make sacrifices. It sucks. I don't want nurses to lose their job. I also don't want to see nurses lose their job because of the shutdowns. I don't want to see small businesses get fined. I also don't want to see small businesses get whittled out. I wish this could go away. But it's going to take that. It's going to take millions of nurses standing up, millions of doctors, millions of truckers, millions of farmers, millions of everybody, the entire country, no matter your profession. That's what it's going to take. So, God bless the nurses who are saying, I'm not doing it. And hopefully, millions of nurses come together and say, this hospital does not operate. We don't, of all the vaccines, folks, a COVID-19 vaccine for a 99 point whatever, this is that they're mandating. This is a sick joke, folks. But someone said we need a whole new government system. I mean, we had a good one. And if you read the founding fathers, they knew all this was coming. Like I have I don't know where it is. I got to organize my bookshelf so I actually know where things are. But I have a cool book that's like quotes from presidents. Jefferson, Washington, they were geniuses. They knew all this was coming. They warned in quotes. They said, eventually politicians are going to do this, this, and this. They laid out a great system. I mean, the American Constitution is it. It's the best system, I think, in the world, or at least was for a while. They saw all these caveats and they saw all these ways that it was going to be manipulated, and they warned us, and we just missed the ball. But now, now we see it, and now we can do something about it. So I think they knew this was coming. They said, people are going to do this, people are going to do that, look out for this, look out for that. They laid the blueprint of how their system can be manipulated. Someone said our forefathers actually read books. No, I really think we're dumber now today, no question. If you read, I'm reading books from like 1960, like these people were 1,000 times smarter than we are, no question. I mean, the founding fathers, people from the 1900s, Booker T. Washington, whoever, they're all way smarter than the average person because they read books. Education was not indoctrination, and they didn't have cell phones and calculators and stuff that does things for you. I'm not above it. Obviously, I'm an idiot too because I have all these things, but they were forced to be smarter, I think, at the time because we have more information, but it's like overload. And a lot of people are still smart, but no, for sure, like reading and writing skills, I think seem to be better at that time, at least for some people. I don't know. Someone said, Trump isn't giving up on you. Why are you giving up on him? I'm not. I'm going to repeat this again, and I'm going to move on. I'm not giving up on Trump. I fully support the Stop the Steal from all his lawyers and all the people on the ground. I don't think he has a plan to stop the lockdowns. I know he doesn't have a plan to stop the lockdowns. We have to stop the lockdowns, folks. He can't do it alone. I'm not giving up on him. I'm just not jumping on his back, expecting him to do things he can't do. And I've seen how he's operated this year. To be honest, I'm not impressed. The first 3 years, A+. I think he did a great job the first 3 years. This last year, Corona, I think he got tricked. I think he got bamboozled, and I think he's in over his head. And I'm not blaming him, but this whole year has been a mess, and I'm not giving up on them, but I'm coping with the fact that we're going to have to do something. It's going to have to come from, listen, Trump's in the White House. They're sneaky. And truckers, farmers, like that, it's going to have to be a working revolution. Like, I heard the truckers are upset. Good. The truckers should be upset. I hope the truckers unions organize, and I hope they use their power to say, listen, we feed this country. We run this country. We are the backbone of this country. I want to see truckers, farmers, like that. It's going to take more than Trump. It just is. I'm not blaming him, but I'm not giving up on him either. You get it. Most people do. Someone said truckers are all going on strike. Good. God bless the truckers. The truckers are underrated, very helpful, and, are the backbone of this country. I'm glad. I hope they do. I hope they're as organized as they say they are. And that, like, they're not giving up on Trump. They're doing they're taking action. I love it. Someone said, trust the truckers' plans. Yeah, trust the truckers. I trust the truckers more than I trust the message board. No question. Someone said, love a trucker. Yeah. If Roy's a trucker, you got, what does it say? Save a horse, ride a trucker. No, I'm just playing. I heard they're striking on 11/29. Yeah. God bless the truckers. I mean, in Germany, Germany is a mess, like Joe Biden would be. The truckers, the farmers, they all rode, I think it was Germany, France. They all rode to Paris, Berlin. I love it. God bless the truckers. God bless the farmers. Trust the truckers, trust the farmers. That's what it's going to have to be. And that's why I don't want Joe Biden to win. I like Trump. But in a way, I'm not as scared as everybody else of a Biden presidency. You know why? One, I don't get scared, but also I think Trump will pull this off. But if Biden wins, everybody will understand what we're facing. If Trump wins, like 80% of his following doesn't seem to understand what we're facing. I like the president. I'm going to repeat, I'm not blaming him, but people can't wrap it in their heads that he can't save them on everything. So if Biden wins, people will finally understand what we're dealing with. If Trump wins, clearly nobody wants to cope with what we're dealing with. The truckers should go on strike whether Trump or Biden wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of who's president, this is not sustainable, these lockdowns. So at least with Biden, people will finally get it. I don't want him to win, but it's like, at what point, do people realize that there is no plan? Someone said, even if Trump wins, we should still get it done on our own. 1,000%. We have to. It's not just that we should, we have to. We have to help Trump. And if he doesn't do it, he'll figure it out once the people do it. Just do what's right. If he doesn't do something First Amendment and you do, and 90% of Republicans do, he has to do it. You get what that's a government of the people. Trump got elected to serve the people. If he does a sneaky First Amendment bill, your job is not to blindly support it because you like Trump. Your job is to like Trump, but stand against it and make him stand against it. That's what it's about, folks. It's not turning your back on him. It's getting things done. So if Trump wins, we have to. We have to end this lockdown. We have to. Someone said we have to continue to promote American firsters. I've told people this for a year, even last year when it was unpopular. I think the America First kids are more of the future than the other GOP. Not only are they young, but they have a goal and they actually try to accomplish it. I love how productive they are. They don't like the anti-Semitism bill. They stand against it. They have questions for foreign policy. They put pressure on Crenshaw and Kirk. The only movement that put pressure on the right wing from the right wing was the America First movement. And how did the right wing thank them? It's the same thing as the left wing. Obviously, the left wing's worse, but like, as soon as they get challenged from the right, everybody's a racist, homophobic, anti-Semite, Holocaust denier that needs to be kicked off social media. Wait, they're using the same tactics as the left. It's like does Charlie Kirk only want to debate like 19-year-old women? Like, yeah, dude, you're 25. You should be able to debate a 19-year-old college girl who doesn't know anything about politics. That's not impressive. But the second they get challenged from the right wing, they start calling everybody Holocaust deniers. It's like, this is who they are. It's like they don't believe in the First Amendment. They don't want to be challenged. That's why I like the America First kids more. They came with an immigration policy. They came with questions. They came with pro First Amendment, problems. And we saw who Crenshaw, Kirk, and Shapiro really were. And who they really are is not who people think they are. So I like the America First kids way more because they have a plan and they execute it. This complacency, like Jim Jordan tweeting things that you want to hear, I'm not impressed by it anymore. It's like that was impressive when I thought you guys were going to do something about it. When I thought you were going to do something about tech censorship, that was impressive. When I thought you were going to do something about, the elites who turned on Trump, that was impressive. When I thought you were going to hold the Russia hoaxers accountable, that was impressive. 8 months into a lockdown, 1 month after a stolen election, it's not impressive anymore. And you're tweeting about Operation Warp Speed. I'm over it, folks. Someone said truck strike is canceled until the election is settled. That's why it feels like a trap. You get what I'm saying? This is why the whole election thing feels like a trap. It's like I love the strike. The strike should go on even if Trump wins. Even if Trump wins, I would love to see the truckers say, hey, Trump, end these lockdowns now. Use every ounce of your power because you're not ending your power to stop it. The Supreme Court's doing nothing. If you don't want to blame Trump, blame the Supreme Court. Where's the Supreme Court? Where are the local courts? Whoever it is, strike them all. And I'm talking about peaceful strikes. I'm not talking, I just have to say that or else they'll take this out of context. I'm talking about like a strike, like a trucker strike, a protest strike them all. It's like, don't wait till Biden steals it or don't not do it if Trump wins. Do it and tell them they have to listen to it. Like that. I want to see that's why I don't want Biden to win, but if Biden wins, everyone's going to strike. If Trump wins, they're not going to strike. Why? They should strike anyway. There should be, you get what I'm saying? It's like Trump is like pacifying people. I like him, but he shouldn't pacify people. He's our guy and he'll help us. If we send the message to the elites, no matter if Biden wins or Trump wins, we're going to get our way. We'll get our way. If we say if Trump wins, we're not going to do it, maybe they'll give us Trump for 4 more years because they know nothing's going to get done. You get what I'm saying? Like it's going to be no, that's our guy. We need to bring the truth to Trump. Not like I want the strike either way, but I'm not a trucker, so it's not up to me. But see, that's the thing I don't like about the Trump stuff. It's like we only strike if Biden wins. Let's strike anyway. Let's send the message early on. So now they see, whoa, okay, like we're making it too easy. All right. Free Beats, thank you for the super chat. He said, January 20th, if we don't stop this, we will all be communist slaves. Take the vaccine on repeat. There is no other nation. It's only Rome. Hail Caesar. Free speech, I hear you. I think we have a limited time period to really, really do like how bad we thought it was 2 years ago. Oh, the Russia hoax was really bad. I bet the GOP and Trump wishes they had the Russia hoax. What they threw at us this year makes the Russia hoax look like peanuts, okay? So they're like in a year, we're going to wish we were where we are now. You get what I'm saying? Time is of the essence. So when they said they couldn't do it 2 years ago, now they wish it was 2019. They wish it was the Ukraine impeachment. The Ukraine impeachment is nothing compared to this. And I'm going to say this. Even during the Ukraine and Russia impeachment, I don't know if you guys remember. Hold on, I need some water. I don't know if you guys remember, but I was telling people, of course, I did reporting on Russia collusion. I did some breakdowns of why it was a lie. But I said very distinctly during the Russia impeachment, I said, guys, a lot of this is psychological. Fox News doesn't need to talk about this every day. Shapiro doesn't need to talk about this every day. Charlie Kirk doesn't need to talk about this every day. Dan Bongino doesn't. Like this is psychological. Not only is it a physical or legal coup rather against the president, it's a psychological operation to make us talk about it every day. So I talked about it 3 or 4 times, like to the point, here's what's going on, but I didn't talk about it every day because it's a trap. It's a psychological trap to not execute President Trump's strategy, take all right-wing media instead of challenging Trump on this and making the GOP do this. You're on the defense. You're defending yourself against the fake thing that's never going to go through. The courts are going to decide. So they psyoped right-wing media into being totally useless for 2 years. And then during the Ukraine impeachment, they psyoped the right-wing media into talking about it every day. I barely covered the Ukraine impeachment. I covered it a few times. I said what it was. I said it was a lie. but I did reporting about, I mean, if you look at a year ago, I did reporting on population control. I said the people in power, the same ones running this great reset, they literally want population control. It's not my theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. They're bragging about it on television. So, this is the type of reporting I'm doing. I'm saying, are they creating rain? Is there ways to make it rain? There are. I mean, just Wikipedia, weather modification. There's a whole history of government weather modification from the 60s and 70s. So I'm talking about this stuff. They're talking about Russia, Ukraine. They lulled us to sleep. It's not just the left wing. The right wing lives on the defense. All they do is defend against non-existent stuff. Make your point. It's fake. We're going to fight it in court. And then we're going to do our own thing. We're going to talk about immigration. All they did was talk about Russia. And Ukraine, it's meant to get you on the defense, distract your time, distract your energy. And even if they lose, they win. So they distracted us for 3 years, and now they threw the whole kitchen sink at us, and all our favorite analysts are nowhere to be found. There's very few people doing impressive reporting when the country needs it the most. So that's, it's like we can't give our whole, and that's how I feel about this election. I want Trump to win, but how convenient is that? We're getting locked down in many of our states. And I know you guys don't care about California, but that's where the biggest economy is. If they could kill California, it's going to have a rippling effect on the whole country. And now we're not even talking about it. Who's talking about the lockdowns? Everybody's stopping the steal. And that's fine. It needs to be stopped. But it's like, who's actually talking about the lockdowns? Even Tucker's barely talking about, this is not even like a top 3 problem for the GOP. We just got lulled into communism. And this is how they get us. It's a psychological operation. Like, we back the blue, but then the blue doesn't back us because they got psyoped into arresting us on airplanes. We back the president, so we just ignore the fact that 15 days to slow the spread turned into 8 months, and it's going to be 3 months uncontested. No one's going to contest it in November. No one's going to contest it in December, and no one's going to contest it in January because the new media thing is the Trump election steal. So, it's like, who's talking about the lockdown? Almost no one. I feel like it's part of the plan to just constantly psyop us and like, here's the new thing. They're going to do it. They're going to fight against it. Here's the new thing. No, the lockdowns is the big story. Obviously the election, but right behind that, or right in front of that rather, lockdowns, this attack on our economy. If ISIS did this attack on our economy for one day, it would be the biggest terrorist attack since 9/11. They did this for 8 years. 8 months. Our own people did this to us for 8 months. Economic, psychological warfare. This is a bigger attack than ISIS and Al-Qaeda has done since ever. Maybe obviously 9/11 was really bad, but in the last 5 years, our worst enemies wish they could destroy our economy. They couldn't even destroy our economy, even by knocking down and killing thousands of people, which is evil, horrible. It's not comparable, but even that, knocking down our economic, landmark, didn't even hurt the economy as much as the economic attack of this year. And I'm not saying it's worse per death. I'm just saying they wish they could do something like that. And our own worst enemies couldn't even fathom the economic destruction that they're doing now. And this is not even going away. And no one's even talking about it. It's just bizarre. And then people get upset. They're like, anomaly, I don't want to hear it. It's not Trump's fault. I don't care whose fault it is. I want it over yesterday. All right. 2 more minutes, then I got to go. Someone said Cuomo killed how many people with ventilators? Yeah, I mean, and this is another good point where it's like, all right, we know that Cuomo had the whole nursing scandal. So he sent people to nursing homes and they had the highest deaths per capita or close to it. They gave everybody ventilators, and it seemed like the death rate on ventilators was massive because I don't think ventilators were the solution for COVID-19. Trump's tweeting about ventilators. I've been saying it the whole time. I'm like, I don't think that's the solution. And ventilators, you could like Trump, but him talking about ventilators and vaccines, you don't have to support that. In fact, if you don't, you shouldn't pretend to, and you shouldn't make up a fake theory to support it. They should feel the pressure. Trump and his administration should feel we have to do what's right. You allowed them, and we allowed them, to dole out billions of dollars to vaccine companies, follow the CDC, listen to Fauci, shut our country down. They're not afraid of us, folks. And this year we got an F. They're not afraid of gun owners. Even we're gonna tax the guns. They're not afraid of you. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to pump you up like a sports team. It's like, like we're down 10, let's win the game. Like they're not afraid of you because they have no reason to be, because everybody's too busy making excuses for why it's happening than actually being like, no, this is like literally not acceptable, and it's tricky because it's a psychological attack and a lot of people fall for it, but it's a bizarre year. All right. Couple more minutes. I'm not getting the vaccine, folks. If you want to get it, that's fine. God bless you. There's a 0% chance I will get it. I would rather do anything, move states, never fly again, never go to public spaces. I will do anything that it takes to not to get this vaccine. So there's a 0% chance I'm getting it and 100% chance I will do anything else to not get it. So that's how I feel about it. If you want it, that's on you. I understand science. I understand how you can't test long-term effects in a year. I understand my immune system. I understand for my age group in general how not deadly this is. I understand how even not deadly it is for older age groups because at a certain point, no matter what you get, I mean, there's not a single virus or disease on the planet that, hurts 30-year-olds more than it hurts 90-year-olds. If you're older and your body's older, it's going to be harder to fight any illness. That's just the way the world works. So they're not fooling me with their data. I understand what's going on, and I refuse to take it. There's not even a 1% chance I take it unless they could tie me down and stab it into me like I'm being attacked. It's not happening. Someone said, and libertarians don't believe in liberty anymore. I mean, as I'm talking shit about everyone, I like libertarians, but the Libertarian Party sucks. Joe Jorgensen, not a fan. Reason, the Libertarian blog, they're like more concerned with making excuses for like pedophile movies than they are actually protecting our Constitution. They're like, here's why Cuties is a good movie. It's like, I mean, I like the ideology of libertarians, but the party and the main like libertarian blogs are not impressive this year. I mean, I prefer John McAfee. I hope John McAfee's doing good. His wife says he's hurt. He's in jail overseas somewhere, but the only libertarian I'll vote for is John McAfee. I love that guy. He's hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the party's doing. What if you have the antibodies? I don't know. I can't. All right. Someone said I'm refusing it too. Yeah, it's not happening. Whatever happened to the flu? No flu deaths this year, said Beth. Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't understand how, it's very frustrating, but most flu diagnoses, I think, are being diagnosed as COVID-19. They're saying, oh, it disappeared because of so social distancing slowed the spread of the flu, but not of COVID. No, they're diagnosing the flu as COVID. I'll give you a hint. I've been diagnosed with the flu multiple times in my life. You have the flu. You have the flu. Have I ever gotten a flu test ever in my life? Never. I've never gotten a flu test ever in my life, but I've been diagnosed with the flu multiple times. So when it's a virus, if it's not strep throat, they test for strep throat. If it's not that, they just call it the flu. And how many different strains of the flu are there? Who knows? So now if you have a cough, it's the flu. It's COVID-19. They've re-diagnosed every flu with COVID-19. Have you had a flu test? Some people have. Never had a flu test, and I've had the flu 5 times in my life or something. So now if you have a cough and you call in or you do anything, they just tell you have COVID. If you fall off a ladder and you have COVID, you died of COVID. If you fall off a motorcycle and you had COVID, you died of COVID. If you had a cough and you die, you had COVID. If they can't tell, thousands of deaths add to COVID. The real amount of deaths of people who actually died from COVID compared to all the deaths they said, this is not even high on a scale of normal things, let alone how hard they're trying. I'm surprised the numbers aren't even higher. I mean, the reaches they're doing to diagnose people with COVID, these numbers are not shocking. Gavin Newsom said 25 million people would have it by May. It's November and under 1.1 million people have it in California. They're trying so hard to extend these numbers. And even with all the bullshit testing and diagnoses, they're still not even able to do it. That just shows you how not that bad it is. It's like they want you to be afraid so they can control people. We get the script, guys. We know what's going on, but Someone said we got sick here recently. Who knows what it was, but I refused to test it. Well, God bless you. Hope you feel better. Someone said COVID cured the flu. I mean, the flu is like influenza, I guess, but I've never been tested for influenza, but I've been diagnosed with it multiple times. Someone said everything is COVID. Yeah, they need to make a new what's it like? I'm Blue song. I'm COVID, where it's like COVID is his house with a COVID little window and a COVID Corvette, and everything is COVID-19 for himself and everybody around, because he ain't got no flu to listen. I'm flu, COVID, COVID, COVID. Just make a whole COVID-19 song. I don't know, just an idea. I'm too dumb to do it, but I'm COVID. If COVID, I'll die. I'll get COVID, then I'll die. It's like everything's COVID. My car is COVID. My life is COVID. I love my mask. I sleep with there's this doctor that's like, I gotta find the tweet, because I was, of course, talking shit to him on Twitter at Legendary Energy. Hold on. Let me try to find the tweet of this doctor. It's so shockingly pathetic that I don't even know what to say anymore. All I could do is talk shit to them on Twitter. But where it's like, he's like, my whole life is my mask. I love my mask. I sleep with my mask. I was like, this is why I don't trust the medical industry. Hold on, let me find it. Hold on, I'm scrolling. Oh, here it is. This is so freaking pathetic. Hold on. Jeremy Faust, MD. All right, not going to this guy. This is my mask. There are many like it. Hold on, I can't even read this. This guy's such a loser. Holy shit. Okay, excuse me. I can't even read it. Hold on, I'm crying. Hold on. It's like it looks like a little haiku too. He's got like sentences like a poem. Hold on. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to read this. I'm gonna try. Hold on. This is my mask. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Hold on. My mask is my best friend. It is my life. I can't do this. Wait, I gotta start over. This is my mask. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My mask is my best friend. It is my life. I must master it as I must master my life. Without me, my mask is useless. Without my mask, I am useless. And it's a picture of him just hanging his mask. This is like so fucking pathetic. Excuse my language. This dude needs therapy, dude. And this guy's treating someone. Without me, my mask is useless. Without my mask, I am useless. Like, this is so sad. This is next level. I'm just shocked. Thank you, Sarah. Memes over outrage said, I like that. Memes over outrage. A massive problem that I've seen is the fake sense of unity. There's so much division in the GOP Trump conservative space. How can we win this excessive fight if we're divided? Just saying. It's a balance of like, you want to be united, but you don't want to be united behind fake people, So it's like, to me, I don't know. Cause like, you don't want to do this fake liberal thing where you're like, we all agree. It's like, no, we really don't agree. But I don't like to use the word grifter. I think it's overused. They call everyone grifter, but I do think there's a lot of grifters in the movement. I think a lot of people care about money, power, and like fame, and make it all about me instead of like what it's actually about. So I don't know. You can't really rally behind somebody that's not fighting for the right things. To me, I think the unity needs to be to stop the steal and to end the lockdowns, so I don't know if people aren't serious about ending the lockdowns, I'm not uniting behind them, but I'm uniting behind the Constitution. There definitely does need to be like some sort of unity, but I think Trump is like the only person that can really unite 50 million people off the bat. And he's not that concerned with the lockdowns. He's just not. So I don't know. It's a tricky thing. I hear what you're saying, but yeah, it's a balance of like, uniting, but also not following fake leaders. It's tricky stuff. They're good at dividing. So I'm kind of rogue. Like, I'll get behind a good movement. I'll support people doing good stuff, but yeah, I don't know. All right. That mask poem was unbelievable, wasn't it? Someone said America's an open air insane asylum. I mean, at this point, you're not wrong. And there's so many things like I like, and I really do have to go soon. I like the president, but there's so many things that I see that are just unsustainable. Like the media is so evil and they just beat down on the country. Like something needs to be done about them. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not sustainable. Trump does what he can to fight against them. So do we. We make Parler, but Rumble. You know, I get it, but like what the media is doing is unsustainable. Like there's going to be a moment where, you know, this theory of like everybody bad is going to get arrested because QAnon said so. To me, it's just holding people back because no matter how much Trump does or Sidney Powell does or Lynn Wood, no matter how much they accomplish, like we're not even half of the way there, even if they accomplish that. And I'm not saying that as a downer. It's just like eventually we have to realize like this path we're on is unsustainable. It was unsustainable in 2016, 2017. It's just, and then it's gone off the cliff in 2020. So we have to properly identify it, and then we have to figure out solutions. But, you know, I just don't see any of this as sustainable. Trump could win. They could riot. Trump could stop them. Trump could take office. And this is not even 1/4 of the battle. If Trump loses and Biden wins, obviously not good, but not over. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think people want to just believe that this is all going away and it's going to be like super, there's just like, but I just don't see it. I think this is just like so reminiscent, to be quite honest. Like I've been reading a lot of books from like World War II. I've been reading books from all the leaders and, you know, communism, this and that. I'm trying to like figure out what happened then, because everyone hears about Nazi Germany and Stalin and, you know, this is like crazy stuff, but it was not that long ago. So instead of reading historical interpretations of them, I'm just going to the source. What did they say? What did Karl Marx say? What did Mao Zedong say? I have a book of Mao Zedong quotes. What did Hitler say? What did they actually say? I don't want to hear some stupid History Channel thing. No offense, but like I read what Karl Marx said and I understand communism better than I ever have. I never understood Marxism until I read Karl Marx. And now I'm like, oh, I get it now. It was nothing like what people said, nothing like what I thought. So I'm getting to it, and everything that's happening, it's the same thing that happened then. In my perspective so far, I'm still learning, so don't take it to the bank. But I think this is kind of similar to what happened in World War II and World War I. I think, to be honest, I think the Marxists started it. I think the communists absolutely started it. And I think they killed millions of people. I think they did exactly what they did here. I think they brought degeneracy all over Europe, all over Russia. I think they turned and made working and social stuff. I think they made it impossible to disagree with them. I think they did all of that. I think they killed a bunch of people. I think they destroyed the economy. I think they were threatening everybody. And then I think that led to a Hitler who just went all out and said, I'm going crazy. So it's like, I think, as much as they call Trump Hitler, Trump is nothing like Hitler. Trump is super, super nice. He's super peaceful. He not only didn't start wars, he ended wars. He's super pro-Jewish. Trump is nothing like him. However, the next leader, I don't wish this on the world, but the next leader to fight Marxism is going to be something like that, because they get so crazy, they get so unhinged, and it's impossible to beat them. If you can't beat them systemically, it's going to get ugly. And that's just the reality of it, because the Republicans play by the rules and the Democrats don't play by the rules. So someone said he started war with Iran. Okay, that's true. He started war with Iran. I'll give you that. Or he started like a Cold War financial war. I'll give you that. But just let me keep talking. All right. In general, the Republicans play by the rules. The Democrats don't. So if you play by the rules, you have to exercise the rules. Trump played by the rules. McConnell played by the rules, and no one got arrested. So if you're going to play by the rules and not enforce the rules, you're going to get blown out of the water. And Republicans are going to get blown out of the water culturally, medically, every which way. We're facing communism, even with Trump in office, because they play by the rules, but they don't even enforce the rules. So Trump, in my opinion, was like the last stand. You could play by the rules. You could be peaceful. You could be calm, but you have to get it done. That's why the QAnon movement exists. Trump didn't drain the swamp, and everybody knows the swamp needs to be drained because they're so sick. So everybody made up this fake theory and went along with it because they want to believe that it happened, because if it doesn't happen, they think they're screwed. So when things don't happen, it's like you're thirsty in a desert and you want water, so you just like hallucinate that there's water. That's like the QAnon stuff. They're like hallucinating that it all secretly happened because it didn't happen. But the point I'm getting to is this is like the last stand where if Democrats take over, they're going to go batshit insane. And if they go batshit insane, there's like two options. Either people win the government back legally. If they're not able to do that, it's going to get messy. And the only leader that's going to be able to take them on is going to be someone 10 times as crazy as Trump. Like, that's just the truth. Like, crazy beats crazy. So in my opinion, from reading actual texts from World War II, and all these leaders that were way more violent, way more ethnically supremacist, and way more communist, I just feel like that it's going to get to that point, and I don't want it to, but like I really think that's kind of what happened. Is like they got crazy, and then it becomes like a last ditch effort where it's either like I'm going to try to be, and then you have a battle of the crazies. It's like who can kill more, who can start more wars, who can win the battle. And if you really want to know the truth, the communists won the war. If you look at the UN was formed right after World War II. They're essentially the communists who are trying to take over the world. Russia, we helped Russia. They were literally the biggest communists in the world. So the communists won the war. McCarthy was probably right. And we helped the communists win the war. So now we're facing global communism, because that was always probably the plan since after World War II, probably before World War II. Who knows? Maybe since the 1800s. I'm sure they thought about this stuff for a lot. So this is all just very reminiscent. And I think that, if Trump can't pull this off and rein it in with legality and calmness, then what do you think happens after 8 years of AOC and Joe Biden? Like, do you think Mitch McConnell's going to rise? Of course not. Do you think Marco Rubio is going to win an election? No. Dan Crenshaw? No, it's going to be someone further right. The further the left goes, the further it pushes people to the right, and it becomes like a battle. And I just, someone said fighting fire with fire. Well, like I said, the only way to stop the Democrats by playing by the rules is by actually enforcing the rules. The Republicans play by the rules and they don't enforce the rules. If you play by the rules, you have to enforce the rules. If you play by the rules and don't enforce the rules, you're going to get wiped out. And then they're going to leave no other option than for somebody to not play by the rules. You get what I'm saying? I'm all for playing by the rules, but it's like a referee saying, I can't foul, I need to play by the rules, but the other team keeps fouling and the referee doesn't blow the whistle. That's a perfect analogy. It's like Republicans are playing by the rules, Democrats aren't. Democrats foul every single play, and the Republican, referee doesn't do anything. And the next time the Democrats get a referee, they're not going to act like Trump. He can't do that. They're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it anyway. So I think, without being a fear monger, because I'm not afraid, but trying to learn why this all happened 100 years ago seems very similar to why it's all happening now. And I think in history they didn't really teach it accurately. I think they cut corners and just said buzzwords and told you Helen Keller was awesome and stuff like that, and it sounds nice. And you learn about Harriet Tubman and the railroad and like just all these little things that like you don't really make sense. You're like, why did this all happen? They're like, why did Stalin kill so many people? Why did Hitler kill so many people? Like, why did this happen? They don't really explain it. I think they teach us politically correct history. And I think it's leading to our demise, because I would say now that I'm actually reading stuff, I didn't understand history. Most people that I see that are Republican who always talk about history, I don't think they understand history, and I think history is doomed to repeat itself if people don't learn from it, and it seems like it is now anyway. So someone said we need to control the narrative. No, absolutely. Stop playing by their narrative, control it. There's ways out of this, and I'm going to work as hard as I can to do it. But someone said you're making me afraid. Well, I always say don't be scared, be prepared. But you have to understand, like, this is a Marxist trick in general. They wear you down. They wear down your culture. They wear down your history. They wear down your future. They've done that for 40 years. And this year they've gone all in. Like, I don't know what could, and I don't want to scare anyone, but I don't know what could possibly be scarier than what happened this year. Like this is almost worse than, I mean, obviously what happened in World War II is bad, but as far as America sent soldiers off to war, but in America, we had more freedom back then than we do now. So it's like, America's getting a worse hand of this than even World War II. I'm not talking about Russia and Germany because they obviously had hard times that are worse than this. But as far as America's never seen anything like what we're seeing right now in the last 100 years or so. This is like, next level stuff. So I'm not trying to scare you, but like if you haven't realized that this is not normal and it's not going away, you're going to be shocked a lot more in the next couple of years. This is doable. It's definitely possible to get out of it, but I would say, I'm seeing why certain things happen, and I'm seeing like if you beat down an economy so bad, like you think Trump is bad. I'm not wishing for a crazier leader than Trump, but at the same time, if you beat the American economy down for 10 more years with Marxism, with all these ideologies, and people can't find a job, and instead of 3% unemployment, you have 30% unemployment, what type of right-wing leader do you think is going to win? It's not going to be a Charlie Kirk or a Crenshaw. It's going to be like a further right person who's just like, F this, we're going all in. Like that's just psychologically, socially, that just seems to me like what would appeal to people. Like if you look at certain unpopular leaders, they lose the first election, the country goes to shit. They win the second election by 20 points or something. Like once things go down, people really wake up to it. Like I guess a comparison that's more mild in the modern era would be, a lot of Cubans escape socialism. A lot of Florida's population hates socialism. Joe Biden starts feeling like a socialist. The Cubans come in full support to Trump. You get what I'm saying? Unfortunately, they seem to be the only population that really woke up heavy to that. But, as soon as stuff started getting weird, they started voting more Republican. You saw more Hispanic rise for Trump because of the socialist vibes from the left. So it's like, if they go even crazier, you're gonna see the crazy right-wing leader is gonna be the solution. That's what I think, and I honestly think that was. I'm overcomplicating it because Russia, Soviet Union, Germany. You had obviously different components to it, racially, socially, but in essence, I think Marxism versus nationalism. Those were the two extremes that they rose. You had National Socialism, which was the Nazis, who were nationalists, but also socialists, but also, obviously you've learned a lot about them. So, and then you had Soviet Union, who were the communists and Marxists, and they fought each other and they both went crazy. And, people went in camps, and in America, people went in camps. I mean, America put Japanese people in internment camps. I don't know if people remember that. Like it was a sick time. So I'm not trying to scare people, but like that literally happened. It wasn't just other countries. Like we put people in internment camps here for precaution. I don't want that to happen. I don't specifically think that's going to happen, but it's like we've pretty much been put on house arrest this year. I kind of feel like a prisoner. Like can't go here, can't go to the park, can't go for like this is the beginning stage of like a communist regime. Someone said, smile, I love you. Well, I don't want to look like a dick. I'm saying all this old messed up stuff. And then I smile real big. They're like, no, I'm smiling. I'm like, that's not funny, but I'll smile so you can see my smile. But someone said we turned the country into an internment camp. I mean, it definitely feels that way. So someone said the right will be pushed to elect a dictator to put the left down. Well, yeah, this is what I'm saying though. It's like, and I've said this before, and then I really do have to go in 4 or 5 minutes. Trump was not a dictator. Trump was not a Nazi. Trump was not Hitler. Trump was not Kim Jong-un. Trump was none of those. He was, as far as Bush and Obama, way less tyrannical, way less authoritarian. Trump, although his tweets are a little mean sometimes to some people, he's actually a really nice guy. But the irony of the Marxists is they live in an inversion world. They know what they're doing. So they push Trump. They overturn him. They stop him from playing by the rules. They almost leave you no option. I hate to say it, but it's like, it's either you're going to die, your country's going to be completely conquered, or you become what they called you the whole time. Like, Trump's not a fascist, but if he successfully overturns this stolen election, they'll call him a fascist. And then the history books will call him a fascist. If Trump decides that the threat is real and tries to make a stand to it, they'll call him a fascist. If they destroy our voting system to the point where our votes literally don't matter anymore and most of the country realizes that, who do you think is going to rise? How do you win an election that's not even fair? How do you win an election that over 50% of the population feels like is a fake election? It's like you almost allow no other option. It's like either you get the communist or you get the fascist. I don't want that to happen, but you get what I'm saying? They leave no other option. It's like Trump's a fascist. Trump was never a fascist, but the communists do so much BS. They give you two options. It's you roll over and we steal it all from you, or you become what they said you were the whole time and actually seize back power. I don't want it to happen. This is not the playing field that I asked for, but it does seem to be the case. Like, they literally called everybody who supported the president a Nazi all 4 years. You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi. You're a fascist. You're a fascist. No, virtually, a very small percentage, if any, are either of those. I mean, I would say over 99% easily of Trump supporters are Nazis or fascists. Like under 1% of people are Nazis or fascists. Over 99.9% of people are not. Like, most Trump supporters don't like Nazis or fascists. However, if you look at the Bernie Sanders crowd, how many of them are literally communists? Like, most of them. Bernie, AOC, they don't look down on Karl Marx. Like, Trump probably hates Hitler. Okay, Trump loves Jews, hates Hitler. I think most left-wingers, not the Biden types specifically, but if you go behind closed doors, a lot of them, they're way more communist than the right wing is fascist. But, they've won culture and they've won history in the sense of, like, if you call someone a communist, it doesn't stick. Communists killed more people than Nazis. But if you call them a communist, if you call them a Nazi, that's a huge deal. But if you call them a communist, it's not that big of a deal. So they won the culture war of, like, they don't care if they're called communists. That doesn't hit. If you get accused of being a Nazi, that's like the worst thing ever. How come being called a communist isn't as bad or worse? Because they won the war, they won the culture, they won the education system, they won the media, they control social media. So if you search communism go to the GIFs, GIF, go to the GIFs on Twitter, on Instagram, search communist. Every single communist meme is a positive. They don't show communism in a bad light. Instagram doesn't show it in a bad light. Twitter doesn't show it in a bad light. Do you know why? Because they support communists. They are implementing communism. They don't care that tens of millions of people died during communism. That doesn't bother them. In fact, they probably enjoy it. So, I don't know. If you search Nazi on Twitter or Instagram, it probably won't even show up. And if it does, I would assume that every single one of them is bad. I couldn't imagine either option not being true. Either it's not there or they're all bad. Every communist meme is a good meme. They don't care that they killed more people. Do you get what I'm saying? The playing field's imbalanced. The Republicans seem to have no answer, but yeah, go to Twitter right now. They're all positive. It's all showing cool Karl Marx and cool Stalin. Like that's what Twitter and Instagram is promoting. It's creepy, but it's real. So someone said eugenics and communism go hand in hand. I mean, I think eugenics and communism, eugenics and Nazism, there was a huge ethnic component to both, and that's why I talk about race sometimes on here. I'm not a racial fanatic. I'm mixed. It's not my whole identity, but however, a lot of people just don't talk about race because they're like, I don't believe in it. It's like, you don't have to, but if you want to understand how these people thought, they do think of it. So it's, I like good people of all ethnicities. This is my message to the world. People watch it in Africa, people watch it in Ireland. Doesn't matter your skin color. But, I think the Nazis cared about it and the communists cared about it. And, if you read their texts, they're there's a lot of ethnic components to both of them. And eugenics is like, how people thought throughout all time. I think until the last 40, 50 years, every country thought about race. Every leader had race and their race in mind. Like this is the way the world worked back then. That's why when you talk to your grandparents and stuff, they're talking about race and you're like, whoa, grandma, don't be racist. But like, that's just how it was back then. So, I think, Yeah, I think communism, Nazism, all those ideologies that were prevalent in the 1900s, I'm sure fascism, there was a huge ethnic component to it, at least in the people who led those regimes. It's interesting stuff, but it's, hopefully we could have a good, peaceful, and calm solution to this. I think the way that I've laid out before that is, protesting financially, physically, holding Republicans accountable instead of letting them just like slip away and not do anything. All right, two more questions or something. I got to go out. Natalie said, Ross said, I identify as a donut. Yeah, I'm anti-donut, bro. I support all races except for donuts. No disrespect. No, I'm just playing. God bless the donuts here. Natalie said, I'm wondering if this election will go to the Supreme Court. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. From what I'm saying, some people are not so bullish on it going to the Supreme Court, but who knows? Someone said America lost their round one. No, we definitely lost this year. No question. How concerned about the Great Reset are you? That's a good question. I don't really get too worked up. I mean, I'm annoyed at where we're at, definitely, and I'm trying to rally people to realize it. But, to me, whatever happens, happens. I lived a good life. It's a little bit of a bummer. I wish this could have happened like when I was 36 or something. Like I was about to go on cruises every year, enjoy my life. I was broke my whole 20s. I was broke the whole time because I was working so hard. So as soon as I actually got money, I'm not rich or anything, but I'm doing better than I was last year by far. So as soon as I actually got money to like not be poor, then all of a sudden they shut the whole country down. So I'm like, God, couldn't you have done this when I was 36? Give me 5 years of vacation and then you could take over the world. It's fine. But in general, yeah, I'm annoyed at the Great Reset, but I'm not concerned or, I'm not going to cry about it. Like whatever happens, happens. Nothing really scares me. I mean, I don't like to fly that much. I don't like, certain things I'm not a fan of, but it is what it is. Either we combat it or we don't. But either way, I can't cry about it. If we win, which I think we'll win, then it's the greatest story on earth. If we lose and things get weird for a while, then things get weird for a while. Things seem to always reverse, There's if you're a Christian or you're religious, you have that to look forward to. If you're not, you could just think of like every regime has always changed, if Germany changed, Soviet Union changed, like everything constantly cycles. So I don't, depending if this is like the end, literally the end of the world, there's always an optimistic take to it. Like not everybody's going to get hurt and eventually it'll turn into a better regime. I don't want to like talk like that, but yeah, I'm not scared or that concerned really. Like I know it's happening. I want to try to be prepared. Don't be scared, be prepared. But yeah, I don't know. It is what it is at this point. It's been like 8 months of like ridiculousness. So nothing surprises me anymore. I'm pretty much prepared for whatever. You should get on Tim Pool's podcast, maybe. Someone said, thanks for the videos. Hopefully things will get better. Well, I think they can if people make them get better. It's like it's going to take. Someone made a good point. It's like, how can we be united when we're all divided? That's the tricky part. We can't seem to get on the same page for anything. You don't want to rally behind a liar, but at the same time, we are so divided, left and right. People afraid of COVID, people not afraid of COVID, people who like these right-wing people, people who don't like these right-wing people. There's like a whole, we can't seem to get on the same page. It's very tricky. Yeah, I don't know. Someone said they are keeping us confused on purpose. No, absolutely. And, I think that's definitely the name of the game, right? Like in America, if you read old communist books, they always knew that the easiest way to divide America was through race. Like they knew that there was tension between black and white just based on historical obvious reasons. They knew that through immigration and stuff, that this was a very multicultural place. And it's really one of the only places like it. America is a social experiment. And in many ways, America is the coolest place on the world. We're the envy of the world. And in many ways, when things get weird, we have more ways to divide because it's not as easy, although they do it in Europe too with a smaller percentage of the population. But they always knew that we can divide them by race. we can divide them by this. When if your whole country is one religion, like Saudi Arabia, you don't divide by religion. But if your country is multiple religions, now everyone's divided by religion and race and politics and left and right. And now you have COVID. Are you afraid? Are you not afraid? So yeah, the divisions are like all over the place. It's definitely one of the tactics, and it works very well. So let me see. Erica said, "You've inspired me. It doesn't mean much, but hey, you got someone fired up." It does mean a lot. I appreciate that, Erica, because I like reading nice comments, and I feel bad when people say I'm afraid or anomaly, you don't like Trump, or, I don't like reading comments where people are mad. I'd rather people be inspired. And I don't want people to do anything crazy or weird. I really just, I want to see strength in numbers peacefully. Like I would love to see, Burbank in Los Angeles, they said, we're not listening to the mayor. We're not listening to the sheriffs. I love that, and I don't have all the answers. I don't know how to pull that off. Erica, you're one person, I'm one person. I can only do so much, and I don't want to lead people the wrong way. But I just know that this is not like, I said this in like April, it's not ending, and it's November. Like it's not going anywhere because it's not based off any real data. I don't have all the answers, but I do know waiting is not going to cut it. And eventually, if it's not me or Trump or someone, or like someone 20 times as strong as me or powerful and in a position, there's going to have to be someone doing stuff. And all I know is that's all we have. I don't have all the money in the world. I don't have all the connections. I have my audience. I have myself, and I need to do it on a personal level like I want others to do. And if enough people do that to some extent, that's a big, even if we get 5% of the population, that's enough to make or break certain companies. That's enough to, that's enough to shift a whole industry. So even if we can't get half the population, we can get 1% or 5%. That's big. And if more and more people, change their attitude from it's going to end soon to it's not going to end soon, that's all I know. That's the first step. If you think it's going to end in a month or something, that's not the first step. If you realize it won't, you don't have to specifically take a huge role, but eventually, when it comes time and when that call is made and when people start putting things into place, we have to be ready to fill that space, because I know a lot of people are looking for an out route and their job isn't allowing it and this isn't allowing it. So we got to just keep working towards figuring out what that is and at least coping with what's happening to get to the point we need. Because I don't know how to do it. I know what I can do on a personal level. Legal level, I'm trying, but it's going to take 1% of the population, 5%. And, it's tough. It sucks. I don't like where we're at. I don't want to tell people like, you can't just feed your family. I think you should. And that's a priority, and you absolutely should. But it's like at a certain point, I've watched millions of people lose their job. I've watched thousands of people lose their business. I see where they're going. I see what they're talking about. They want to basically own everything, and they want to, they're bringing in stuff like mandatory vaccines. That's to scare you from traveling. So I just want to I know we can't do everything, but when that moment comes, if we have 50 million people who say we're not doing it, then it can end. If we have a million people who say that and 49 million people who say, I'll just do it because it'll end after this, then we probably won't be successful. So, we'll figure it out. Someone said Pennsylvania is going to prohibition. I don't have all the answers, but I just can't believe people are putting up with this. I really can't. As soon as I found out there was a protest that I could drive to within the vicinity that's reachable, I went there, and there were hundreds of people there, and it was fantastic. As I'm talking to mayors, I'm literally talking to mayors being like, I like what you're doing, but you're not doing enough. Like I'm doing everything that I possibly can to do it. And I can't do it all, but I don't understand how Pennsylvania is okay with that. I don't understand this stuff. I can't, people get mad at me sometimes. What if I was the governor and I canceled alcohol and I canceled businesses? I would expect there to be 10,000 people outside my house. I'm a nobody doing barely anything, and some people get slightly mad at me. Like, imagine if I ran the state and I bankrupted thousands of businesses. I can't believe there's not thousands of people outside these people's house peacefully being like, what are you doing? You're going to cancel alcohol in the United States of America? I'm shocked that they're like that Pennsylvania is going to let that happen. I would, like, the second, if I was in Pennsylvania, the second there was a protest or something, like they're honking horns at Gavin Newsom's house and stuff, like times 10,000. It's starting to happen in California. I would hope it happens in Pennsylvania. Like this is crazy stuff that's going on. And I think, we'll figure it out, but yeah, it's tricky. Everyone's got to work. Everyone's got a job, but at a certain point, like one day of pause or something to put the pressure on it, it's nuts. I don't have all the answers, but I do have a rebellious spirit in me that just says, this is like the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I just, let me see. Danny Flower said, I work in an elitist members only club and the hypocrisy is disgusting. Rules for thee, not for me. It hurts my heart to see what's happening because even where I live, who wears the masks? I don't wear the masks. The workers wear the masks. So it is an elitist situation, even if they're not hypocrite. It's like they're not wearing a mask. If you work there, you have to wear a mask. It makes me feel horrible. There's already people doing landscaping and tough labor. I've worked as a landscaper. Actually, my stepfather had a landscaping company temporarily. I did landscaping. I've worked farming. It's incredibly hard work. Let alone they have to wear a mask, but I don't have to wear a mask. It makes me sick. It's already hard enough to do this type of work, let alone to be like dehumanized and, stuffed up with a mask. It's sick stuff, man. I wish there was more people that were rebelling against it. I get why there's not, and I'm sympathetic towards it. But at a certain point, the message I'm really trying to drive home to people, we can't do everything. We're only one people. Maybe you can't do what I'm saying because you have to make money. But one thing I know is for sure, there's millions of people out there who could do something or could do more. And the reason they're not is not because they're making money, not because they have a job. It's because they think that Trump's going to do it. You get what I'm saying? I can't, if you have it, I've met people with masks on saying, Namely, I love your stuff. I got to work here. I'm not blaming you. I'm not asking you to lose your job, but I am saying if there's 70 million Trump supporters and 50 million of them think Trump's going to save them, I know that's a problem. I can't tell you everything, but that's a problem. If there's people who are waiting for Bill Barr or Dunham or Lynn Wood, you got to stop waiting. Lynn Wood's doing his job. Sidney Powell's doing her job. Our job is to do what we can. If you can't, that's fine. But the amount of people that probably would do more if they didn't think it was already secretly happening is huge. And that's what what's going on. Someone said, I wonder if Anomaly's parents are based. I love my parents. I love and appreciate them. They definitely, I think, taught me good morals and good values for sure. Like, manners and such. That's probably why I have manners for the most part. But yeah, politically, I think they're not as, I don't think they're as interested, they work and they do their own thing, but they're smart people. My mom is kind of falling for the COVID stuff. She's super pro mask, which is disappointing. And my dad is kind of getting it, but yeah, I don't know. They're great people, fantastic people. I'm appreciative of them, but they're not really into politics. Like they vote and they support who they support, but I can't say, they're that interested in what's going on as much as I am. But it's easier for me to do that. I'm younger. I don't have a huge family to feed and stuff. So I understand the dynamic there. Someone said, I see people wearing masks in the rain. Yeah, it's shocking. Someone said, why didn't Tucker talk about election fraud today? I don't know. I didn't see his show, but yeah, I can't tell you. I didn't see his show. Someone said, my cousin is an actor who was in The Irishman and The Green Book the last few years. He had small parts. He's known in Hollywood circles, and he told me he's been approached 4 times to join the Illuminati. It's thank you for sharing that perspective. I think at a certain point, there's certain levels, and this is why I don't like the speech laws and stuff. If you own the banks, okay, it doesn't matter if you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, whoever, if you control the banks or you're the top person at the central bank, you have a lot of power. You control the monetary system. So you get what I'm saying? If you control a media company, you have a lot of power. So at certain points, there's gatekeepers in any industry. Movies, you're not getting, it's like, if you don't like Harvey Weinstein, you're not getting a job. He's one of the top people in the industry, stuff like that. So I think no matter where you go, there's a certain place you can and can't go. So if you're in the acting industry, you can get certain roles, but if you're not going to do this for this person, then you're not moving further. If you work in this industry, but you don't want to cooperate here, then you're not going to get further than you can. You could do some smaller roles, but you're not going to make it there. I think that's kind of how it works in a lot of industries. There's gatekeepers and, there's sacrifices to be made. And from what I've seen in politics, just on my small scale, is it's like, from what I've heard too, is like, they look for people who are submissive. Like I heard directly, a year ago, they said they don't want to work with you because, you don't just like suck their, you won't bow down to them and suck them off. Like not literally, like I'm not literally doing, but like that was what I was told. Like, that's why they don't like you. And I thought to myself, that's not true. I don't believe that. I don't. And they're like, no, I'm sure that I know that's why. Like I'm, internally, I know that's why. And I thought that was weird, but now I kind of get it. Like, it's like, if you're not submissive and you're not controllable, they're not interested in you. It's like a lot of these organization stuff. Like, of course, they've seen my stuff. Of course, they work with hundreds of people who are smaller than me, have smaller followings, do worse work, that don't do anything like I do. And I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, like, they know who I am, and I don't want to work for them anyway. I'm just saying, like, they make their choices. Certain people, like, who's gonna do what we say? Who's gonna not rock the boat? Who's going to represent our exact views and just parrot what we say? I think they want people that are not as smart, or I'm not even going to say not as smart, but more willing to not, go outside the box. So I think that's how a lot of acting works and other things. It's like they look for people who are submissive. They look for people who will obey them, and they don't want someone to upstage them. Like to me, I want everyone to win. It's like, if I hire somebody or I take someone on my team, I hope they do better than me. Like I want, especially like if you're at the corporation, you own a percentage of it. It's like, you want them to win. If they win, you win. And it's like, you both do different things. But a lot of gatekeepers, it's like, they want to keep you under them. So you're under their thumb and you're controllable. But that's power, that's money, that's the world. I get it. It's nothing new under the sun, folks. I think that's been like that. Someone said like Don Lemonhead. Yeah. Like overall, if you're Don Lemon and you're Chris Cuomo, do you think Chris Cuomo would be allowed to question the Democrats in any? I mean, his brother is the governor, and the corporation is like there's only so much you could do. And I don't know if Don Lemon really feels that way. He might be full of shit. He might actually believe himself. But either way, he knows there's certain things that he couldn't say, or he'd get cut. He would get cut from, he would get cut from the television. He knows that. So he's got to stay in his box. To be honest, though, it's the same as even me. Like, I know that there's certain things that if I say, because I'm on Facebook, if I say I'm not going to be on Facebook anymore, or I'm not going to be on YouTube, I could probably get away with certain things because I'm well-spoken and I say how I feel. But I know there's certain things I could say, if I really felt that way, and they would figure out a way to take my channel down immediately. In fact, they already pretty much have on Facebook. They've done it, even though I didn't do anything. So I think anytime there's always a sacrifice to be made, you just understand, if you work for Fox, that's the box. If you work for CNN, that's the box. If you are on Facebook, that's the box. If you're on YouTube, that's the box. They have a lot of people by the balls, in that way. And it's uncontrollable. Like, my buddy, and he's not my best friend in the world, but I met him. He was an intern for Flecka's. Jaden O'Neill, I think his name, or McNeil. He was going hard at George Floyd stuff and making jokes, and he says like edgy stuff racially. They cut his PayPal. They took his PayPal away. If you don't have a PayPal account, that's really hard to survive in this world. You could still do it, but PayPal's pretty big. So when they start going for your digital bank account and stuff, like, there's certain ways that they control everyone. It's like you could be as independent as you want. Can you get around PayPal? I don't know. It's like eventually I'm bracing for all that stuff because I'm not going to censor myself. So the more I say, the less tolerant they get, the more they're going to try to take away my Facebook and my YouTube and my bank. Like, I'm bracing for this stuff already because they've already done part of it. And, it's how they control people. And, respect to people who are not controlled and who don't bow down. I don't bow down, but that's also why I've lost almost all of my Facebook monetization. They let me keep some subscriptions. As far as ad revenue, gone. My reach, gone. YouTube, I'm grateful that they're still doing this. But if one day it's not that way, I'm not even going to be remotely shocked. And they're just going to go further and further down that path, I think, unless there's some sort of backlash. I guess we got Parler, we got Rumble, we got BitChute. They got DLive for some people. Jordan said, I think at this point it's going to have to come to we the people saying no. Exactly. And I'll end on that note, because that's kind of to wrap it all together. I know some things I say get misconstrued. Most people gets it. But at the end of the day, I'd love to see truckers, farmers, Trump supporters, whoever, no matter who you support, liberals. I don't even care at this point. If you're paying attention, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. We can't wait for Biden to steal it. We can't wait for Trump to win. Like, it's got to come to us. There's no way around it. It's not being disloyal to Trump. It's being loyal to your people, loyal to the Constitution, and understanding how politics work. In the game of politics, Trump has millions of people to do business with. It's very tough. It's shocking that he even did what he did. It's shocking that he even got away with that. So, like, you can't expect Trump to do everything. In the business transaction of we the people, this is all we have. Trump has what he has. He's in the White House. He's doing business with the big wigs, Saudi Arabia, Israel, these people, Iran. Like, we the people, that's all we have. So if we are complacent, if Trump wins and we just think he's going to solve it, that's not the answer. We have to demand that things get done. We have to demand our freedom back. If Trump can't do it and Crenshaw can't do it and they're not doing it, we have to tell them that they have to do it. Like, for instance, Georgia, Governor Kemp gets ratioed on Twitter. He understands fully if he doesn't try to stop the steal, and we're not asking him to rig it for Trump. We're asking him for a fair audit and a fair election. And once we have a real audit, then if Biden wins, he wins. But if we don't have a real audit and we saw all this stuff going down in Georgia, he's not going to win again. And he's not going to feel comfortable on social media. I'm not trying to treat him like a commie, like saying F you, this and that, but it's like, bro, you're a Republican. This is crunch time. It wasn't fair, and we haven't had a fair audit. So this type of pressure needs to be on Jim Jordan, Donald Trump. Jim Jordan still gets, 10,000 retweets with everything he says. Everyone's like, thank you so much, Jim Jordan. Thank you for what? He's not doing anything. He did nothing about tech censorship. He's bragging about vaccines. He does very little to stop the lockdowns. Like, all these people need to have this energy of, like, if you're not doing everything you can to stop the lockdowns, then what are you doing? We let them get away with doing nothing. All they have to do is tweet one-liners, and everybody's so impressed. It's like Charlie Kirk's like, if lockdowns work, why are we doing them again? If they don't work, why are we doing them again? No, it's a great point. Why are we doing them? But we get what's going on. At a certain point, either you're going to do something about it or have a plan, or in general, stop playing stupid to it. Or we need to find someone who could actually do something about it. And that's what it's got to be from this point out. It's like, don't be mean to them, but at the same time, the GOP, when they go in offices, and I'm just being honest, Trump said, I think he said this one, like, I could shoot somebody in New York City and they'd still like me, which is really funny. Or he said something like that. It's really funny, but at the same time, it's literally true. I found it very funny when he said it. I forget the exact quote, but he's like, I could do anything and people will support me. And it's true, but this is the type of energy I think that the GOP has until people put pressure on them. They sit behind closed doors and they say, the Democrats are really bad. None of these Republicans are going to vote for Democrats, obviously. So we have them by the balls. You get what I'm saying? The GOP knows this. Trump knows this. They feel no urgency to really perform, because it's like, listen, what are they going to vote for? The Democrat? They're going to vote for the guy who hates churches? They have us by the balls. So, I feel like if we put the pressure on them, then those GOP, circles are going to start feeling a certain way. Like, even now, Nick Fuentes, Alex Jones, Ali Alexander, say what you want about them, but they're out in the streets with thousands of people saying, we're stopping the steal. So now in the meetings, you have GOP members like Kemp and Raffensperger, instead of saying, we have Republicans by the balls. We can do whatever we want. They're thinking, dude, we might not be here in 2 years if, we might lose the Senate if we don't get our act together. So they get their act together. We need to put, I like the fact that they're putting pressure peacefully on these people, because the GOP has gotten away with anything. Like Jim Jordan, he's like, I could just tweet something and everybody's going to love it. Tucker put pressure on him. Cernovich puts pressure on him. I blocked him. Honestly, I just blocked him. I'm like, I don't need this fake freedom fighter stuff in my timeline. So let them know. It's like, we want action. So, and this is the we the people transaction. It's not mean. It's not hateful. Show them love. Don't, God bless them and their family. Don't be like a psycho threatening Democrat or anything. Like, don't hurt. Like, let them know it's all love. But at the same time, we want them to be in the meetings saying, Trump saying, if we don't end the lockdown or they don't do this, then, it's not, these people are going to get it anyway. It's not up to us. We can't have them sitting in meetings being like, dude, there's no way they're going to vote for AOC. The crazier Democrats get, the more desperate the Republicans get. So they have to vote for us. Like, we want them to feel like they're about to lose everything if they don't give us what we want. And I'm not trying to threaten or anything, but it's like, I don't see Governor Kemp winning the next election. I'm not trying to be mean. It's time to stop the steal. And he didn't really care that much. So either he does and gets a fair audit, or he gets replaced by somebody who's a more loyal person. Like that's how they need to feel. Thank you, Eileen. I read your comment about the merch. I appreciate you getting something. I'm not trying to be mean. I don't want them to be hurt in any way but like, if I'm a liar and I sell out the First Amendment, I don't want you to like me. I want you to not be mean or something. But to be honest, maybe you should be mean if I did that, because if I'm Mr. Freedom Fighter on YouTube and Facebook and I make my whole living making money on ad revenue and merchandise and Patreon by doing good work, if my work starts sucking and I start lying, you should not pay me. You shouldn't be a patron, and some people pull out sometimes. That's fine. That's how the world works. I don't make money because I do a trash job. If I did a trash job, I shouldn't make any money. You shouldn't buy my merch. You should boycott my merchandise. So this is how it should work for them. Like, we shouldn't, it's not like either I get Anomaly or I get Don Lemon. It's like, yeah, I'm better than Don Lemon, but that's not saying much. I'm also better than a lot of people because I work my ass off. If I wasn't, stop supporting me. Okay. Don't tell me how great I am because I tweet one-liners. I want to see all the comments saying, Anomaly, you suck. And then these people think twice. So it's like, that's the strategy. It's like, you don't have to be mean to them personally, but if they're selling out the First Amendment, they should feel the ratio. Their whole job is to protect the First Amendment. If you can't do that, ratio on Twitter, ratio on Facebook. If you're Trump and you're doing Operation Warp Speed, but you're not fighting against the lockdowns, we love you, President Trump. God bless you and your family. But ratio until they get their act together. Jim Jordan, we like the tweets and stuff, but you're talking about Operation Warp Speed and how great it was. Ratio. You get what I'm saying? Governor Kemp, you couldn't stop the steal. We love President Trump, and you're supposed to be on his side. Ratio. And then they go to meetings, and you know what they say? They say, sheesh, we better, support we the people, or we're going to get run out of this town. Instead of saying, they can't do anything about us. Like, imagine if I just sat here all the time and I'm like, listen, I'm going to betray you every single day of my life, but at least I'm not Don Lemon. I'm not going to fight tech censorship. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to support the lockdowns. I'm going to tell you how great vaccines are for 50 years and say Operation Warp Speed is the best thing ever. That's so great. It shouldn't be like, well, Anomaly is better than Don Lemon. It's like, no, I need a ratio. Okay. They need ratios. And that's how it is from here on out. It's not mean. It's not hateful. It's not disloyal. It's ratios from here on out to everybody who doesn't support the First Amendment. It's ratios from here on out to everybody who doesn't support the Second Amendment. When Dan Crenshaw didn't support the Second Amendment, guess what happened? He got ratioed, okay? When Ben Shapiro and all his friends turned their back on the First Amendment and tried to do their little cancel culture summit, guess what happened on their YouTube channel? They got ratioed. They got more downvotes than upvotes. They got $1 million business. They got all the Adam Carolla and Michael Knowles on the side, and they got ratioed. You know why? Because they deserve to get ratioed. Why did they get ratioed? Because downvote, because they don't really support the First Amendment. So either they start supporting the First Amendment or they get downvoted with the ratio. So that's how we digital soldiers do it. Okay. I'm not trying to be mean. Even these people, I'm like, I don't care what plan you trust. but you got to we got to get something done. We can't wait for 5 months, 6 months. It's not coming. But that's why I like, well, real quick, before I leave, that's why say what the trio of three people, the three probably most hated, most bashed, most censored people on the planet: Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes, Ali Alexander. Nothing like, they're the ones stopping the steal. They're the ones making the Georgia GOP feel like, listen, man, we like that. They've never had they've never had Congress surrounded like that. They got thousands of people in the streets. They're getting ratioed online all the time. That's good. That's a good thing. They finally know that we don't care if the GOP can't protect Trump, they can die out. And I don't, not literally, I'm talking about as a party. I want there to be a Republican Party, but if they can't stop the steal, if they can't stop tech censorship, then who cares? Let them completely lose. They could lose the House, they could lose the Senate, and they need to feel that pressure. And then they'll do something. And if they do something, they could win big in 2022. But if they don't do anything, we'll find other Republican candidates who will primary them. In fact, Fuentes and Ali Alexander are doing that right now. They're starting a whole group to figure out which Republicans betrayed President Trump. I'm not talking about challenged him. I'm challenging President Trump. I didn't betray President Trump like Fox News. I'm challenging him. So we find everybody who's, and I'm not talking about putting them on a blacklist. I'm just talking about politically, we peacefully find a better, Republican mayor, and then they'll win, or governor, and they'll win. Someone said, what is a ratio? It means when you get more down votes than up votes. Like, for instance, if my video has, 20,000, 10,000 up votes and 1,000 down, like, it means getting more down votes than up votes. It means getting more negative comments than good comments. Like when I debated Young Pharaoh on his channel, he got ratioed. It means more people in the comments, or most people, or like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% of people were saying he lost the debate. It's embarrassing for any content creator. It means you probably messed up. When Joe Rogan, when Joe Rogan brought on Jack Dorsey and gave him a softball interview and didn't do anything, he got ratioed. And guess what happened? This is digital protest. He brought back Jack Dorsey with Tim Pool. And then Tim Pool told Jack Dorsey what a lot of people felt. So it's how you get to the big dogs. If I don't make that much money, but in general, I mean, I'm doing better than I've ever done, so I'm not going to complain. But I'm talking about when you're Joe Rogan, when you're $100 million, and no disrespect to Joe, but when you're that big, you notice when your crowd turns against you. You get what I'm saying? He did another interview with Jack Dorsey because he was getting down. It was like 20,000 down votes, 2,000 up votes, all the comments. You're sold out. You're sold out. You're sold out. He hears that and he doesn't want to lose his big business. So he says he doesn't want to lose his fan base. He's like, all right, what did I do? I did something wrong. And then he corrects himself. Okay. That's what the ratio is. It's when you show politicians, governors, news people, whether it's me, Shapiro, Kirk, anyone, that the BS is not going to cut it anymore. That they're going to lose their following if they don't tell the truth. And I don't want you to pressure them to do something wrong only for the First Amendment. For the First Amendment, for the Second Amendment, for the Constitution, for the country, for the freedom, for the lockdowns. That's it. Little debates about foreign policy and stuff. It could wait for another time, although it's important. You get what I'm saying? I don't care if he disagrees with me about taxes. I'm not trying to buy. But if you can't stand up for the country and the First Amendment, you have to get ratioed. So that's what we're doing. Team ratio. Everyone gets ratioed. Kemp ratioed. Raffenberger ratioed by me. I'm the top comment on his thing, getting like 5,000 more likes than he got. It's ratio season, folks. Okay. Ratio. You got to work. Then we ratio. Okay. You got to feed your family and wear a mask. I understand. Then we ratio. Okay. We ratio every Republican until they actually do something about the lockdowns. I'm even ratioing my mayor, and I like my mayor. He's actually a good mayor, but I'm like, listen, the outdoor dining's cute. I like it. I appreciate it. Thank God you're not Los Angeles. Los Angeles blows. No offense to people in Los Angeles, but their politicians suck. We need indoor dining open, okay? So it's like, it's ratio season, folks. I'm just dishing out the down likes. Down like, comment, down like, down. I can't even ratio Jim Jordan, so I just blocked him. I'm like, I don't need this crap in my feed. Talking about Operation Warp Speed is one of the greatest things ever. Bro, I don't want to hear about how you gave billions of dollars to Pfizer and Moderna and a bunch of other vaccine companies. Whoever, I don't want to hear about how many billions of dollars you gave to vaccine companies, bro. Ratioed or blocked. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm tired. I have no tolerance for this crap. We're locked down and you're bragging about how much money the government gave to vaccine companies. That's not going to be used against us, Jim Jordan. I get it. but ratioed or blocked. Block, ratio, block. I'm giving out blocks left and right. I got to stop arguing with people on my Twitter because it's pointless, but it's ratio season, folks. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. That's what we're going to do in a polite way, and well, somewhat polite, maybe not, but in general, be nice, be peaceful, be reasonable, but, we're not giving up our Constitution. We're not giving up our country. We're not giving up our freedom. And that's a way to digitally put the pressure on. And trust me, there's people that are physically doing it with protests, peaceful protests, of course, always, but there's people who are doing that, and they're going to continue. So keep an eye on people who are doing that to stop the steal. And I have no doubt in my mind that after the Stop the Steal protests, there's a lot of people who are planning on doing this stuff. Truckers are already having some sort of, that's great. I love that stuff. Listen, truckers keep this country alive. If they're going to get, Green New Deal to death and they're going to try to take their jobs, it's ratio season, it's protest season, it's digital protest season, it's financial protest season, it's Anomaly got a medical mask exemption season. I'm going to sue the shit out of any company that tries to abuse the Constitution season. It's that time of year, folks. It's Christmas season. It's Thanksgiving season. We're going to eat with our families. We're going to, not wear a mask. We're not listening to curfew. It's not curfew season, Thanksgiving season, Christmas season, ratio season, protest season, not wear a mask season. It's all those seasons. It's Stop the Steal season. So we're going to win this, folks. You can feel the energy. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. I appreciate you guys, and I will be back soon with more videos. Thank you. I'll do more live streams since they seem to be more effective on Facebook now that they've cut my other one, but I like both. I'll keep working. Thank you guys who are buying stuff from dreamrare.com, Patreon. Appreciate y'all. I just answered all the questions on Patreon yesterday, and if you don't do anything, do a few things for me that are free, folks, because this is more important. Sign up to my free email list at stayintouchwithme.com. Stayintouchwithme.com, all one word. Sign up. It's free. I barely email, but it's good to have if something happens, I can reach people. Also, I'm on Parler at Dream Rare, DREAMRARE. That's my new thing. Instagram, Dream Rare. Parler, Dream Rare. Rumble.com/Dream Rare. That's also my Parler, Dream Rare. So I'm on Rumble. I'm on BitChute, Dream Rare. Instagram. I'm getting on all the new sites because BitChute, Rumble, Parler. I get it. Let's spread the seed. Let's start using other websites because Facebook's untrustworthy, and that's what it is. I appreciate everybody who got me on Parler and Rumble. I'll be back soon.